Security incident at the Pentagon. A hazardous materials unit is on the scene. Virginia law enforcement also responding over an air quality issue. The House failing to renew the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, the law that allows the government to gather intelligence abroad. Democrats refusing to approve it over the naming of Bill Pulte to be the next acting director of national intelligence. House Speaker Mike Johnson.
We did everything within our power to try to ensure that this statute does not expire, and the Democrats are using it as a political hostage.
President Trump saying on social media U.S. forces will attack Iran further and take control of its oil, and telling Fox and Friends.
They're getting decimated, and they're dying to make a deal. They want to make a deal so badly.
A Toronto police officer shot and killed today by a suspect linked to the investigation of an attack that damaged the facade of the U.S. consulate back in March. This is ABC News. The driver of an 18-wheeler involved in a pursuit near the U.S.-Mexico border in custody and facing charges of human trafficking. ABC's Jim Ryan has more on a dramatic rescue that unfolded in the South Texas desert.
At the checkpoint near Falfurrias, Texas, Border Patrol agents ordered a secondary inspection of a tractor-trailer rig after a canine indicated something suspicious, but the driver sped away. Officers deployed spikes, flattening the truck's tires, but it kept going and, running on its rims, caught fire before stopping.
Hey, let's get some fire extinguishers!
Body-worn cameras captured state troopers' desperate attempts to open the trailer.
Get him out, get him out, get him out!
39 people, thought to be undocumented immigrants, were rescued from the burning trailer while the driver was arrested. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Storms knocking out power to hundreds of thousands of people in the Midwest. The same system moving eastward, and there is the potential for more serious weather today. There were more than 1,000 flight cancellations at Chicago airports on Wednesday. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Seattle officials are planning a response about ongoing violence on Aurora Avenue. But first, KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. This traffic report is brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance. In Everett on southbound I-5, there is a collision at 529 in the left lane. Expect a few delays there. Linwood to Seattle is just under an hour right now. Pretty normal for this time. Bellevue to Everett is 25 minutes with some delays. On I-90, Bellevue to Seattle is running about 15 minutes right now. And just a heads up on US 2, there is maintenance happening right now. There is a right lane reduction on eastbound US 2, east of Skycomish. Bellevue is also running well. Considering a new Lennox cooling system before the summer heat wave? Get a price estimate on your phone in 60 seconds from Home Comfort Alliance. Visit homecomfortalliance.com now.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. For months, Aurora Avenue neighbors have been asking for city leaders to do something about the gun violence in their community. Today, the city has a response. KIRO News Radio's John Repp reports.
Today's press conference includes Seattle City Council members and Mayor Katie Wilson, along with the police chief. Earlier this week, Keith Carpenter, pastor of Epic Life Church in North Seattle, called out city leaders specifically.
Council member District 5, please show up. Mayor, please show up. People are being shot at. Houses are being shot at. There's bullets coming through walls where infants are sleeping.
Council members have recently called for closure of several streets as well as a longer-term strategy. John Repp, KIRO News Radio.
Auditors say they have major problems with the plan from King County's Regional Homelessness Authority to fix a $44 million deficit and $13 million in untracked spending. Publicola reports that auditors called out 7 red flags, noting the agency continues to ignore clear problem areas. King County Executive Gurmai Zahalai pledged stronger accountability in last night's State of the County address. Listen to this.
The bottom line is that we have to do better, and we will hold people accountable for any act of fraud or abuse.
The agency says several issues flagged by auditors are already being addressed. The first whistle of the FIFA World Cup sounds today, and fans across Western Washington are ready to celebrate. Watch parties are being planned throughout the region. KIRO 7 TV's Ranji Sinha is at the Port of Everett's Boxcar Park.
The city of Everett is working with regional partners for transportation here. There is a free shuttle provided by Everett Transit with stops at Everett Station, downtown Everett, as well as here at Boxcar Park. And each game kicks off 2 hours after the fan zone opens here in Everett, and it will be open for 2 hours after the matches are over so people can celebrate.
Seattle is taking its World Cup celebration to the water. A massive floating fan zone is on the city's waterfront ahead of the World Cup. The Seattle soccer celebration features a barge anchored at Pier 62 with a mini soccer pitch, a giant LED video screen, food vendors, and an interactive activity for fans. The ribbon cutting was last night.
Congratulations, Seattle!
The barge was created by the Sounders, Rain, and Rave Foundation. The restaurant inspection map some King County diners rely on is finally back online.
Don't eat it, just eat it.
The county stopped updating the food safety ratings website last November during a major technology upgrade. Now you can search for restaurants, check food safety scores, and review inspection histories. Public Health Seattle and King County say it's also exploring improvements to make the map more user-friendly. Now to your KIRO News Radio weather. Sunshine is on the way today. Temperatures pretty warm in the mid-60s. Right now, it's about 58 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee and Ursula are out today. I'm Angela Poe Russell filling in along with the incomparable Greg Tomlin. Good morning to you.
Angela, so good to see you. I'm thrilled we're together this morning, and it's World Cup kickoff day. I've got my vuvuzela here ready to go. Do you remember vuvuzelas?
Crickets.
Andrew?
Sadly, yes.
They would make this sound like this, and people had them in copious amounts at the 2010 South Africa World Cup, and they were eventually banned because they were so annoying.
I can see why.
Yeah, there you go.
But look, you can hear Chef is here, Nick as well. Good morning to you, Nick.
Good morning.
All right, so is this Thursday? Is it Friday's Eve?
It's Friday Eve.
Is that the way we call it?
Put.
I don't know if I said that right. Look, glad that you're with us. Feel free to text during the show. We have a lot to talk about. 1-888-973-5476. That's 888-973-5476. Let's get to our top 5 stories. All right, you heard Greg say it. The World Cup officially kicking off today, but for us in Seattle, it's Monday. And while there's a lot of excitement locally, businesses are starting to worry it may not be as profitable as they thought. Let's go through some of the headlines. FIFA World Cup tickets are still available for Seattle matches, and prices seem to be dropping. That from KIRO 7 TV. Short-term rental demand in Seattle down 2% from last year at this time, despite the World Cup. That's in the Seattle Times. Some Seattle hotels say their bookings aren't meeting the World Cup hype. That from KOMO 4 News. The Silver Cloud Hotel near the stadiums, they tell KOMO only 62% of their rooms are booked for the first match on Monday, and they aren't close to being sold out for any of the 6 matches. In early May, shall I go on? One more. The American Hotel and Lodging Association found that nearly 80% of hotels surveyed in World Cup host cities, including Seattle, reported that bookings were lagging expectations and trailing a typical summer season. At SeaTac Airport, flight bookings down 21% compared to this time last year. So not only, Greg, it seems that we're not profiting, but it seems to be worse than typical.
Yeah, I want to take a trip back in time. It was announced in June of 2018 that the World Cup would be coming to the U.S. in 2026. And I'll go there right away here in the first couple minutes of the show. At the time, Donald Trump was president in 2018. But I don't think anyone believed that he'd still be president in 2026, right? The notion of him serving 2 non-consecutive terms was not on anyone's radar at the time.
It was not.
Fast forward to present day, there are absolutely geopolitical reasons that play a role in tickets still being available, vacancies at a lot of hotels. Is it the main driver? Probably not, but I actually have a brother who's involved in tourism in the Grand Canyon. American politics, American foreign policy, immigration policy has without a doubt led to a big reduction in international tourism. But I also want to point out a recent Gallup poll. Soccer or football is still just not a beloved sport in America. 41% of Americans say gridiron football is their number one sport. 10% list baseball as their top sport. 9% say basketball. Just 5% of American citizens say soccer is their number one sport. I also think that plays into it as well. And then
wait, a plot twist. I did not expect you to go there. The thing is, FIFA makes money though. I mean, because they get money from all the they get money from all the ticket sales and all the things.
Yeah.
But okay, but go ahead. Yes, I get your percentages, but when you go to certain parts of the world, I mean, they're millionaires, these players, because they are making so much money.
Oh, without question. I mean, so if this took place in Argentina or a European nation, maybe you'd have a different outcome here. But I've also been an advocate. My recent life hack that I discovered and yes, you're taking a bit of a gamble and it is a calculation, but you can find really discounted prices on tickets if you wait till like the 11th hour. Now, there's no guarantee that prices will plummet here, but I think you're going to have a lot of people in the stands for the World Cup games here in Washington, people sitting side by side where one person spent well over $1,000 and another person maybe spent a few $100 because they got in at the last minute.
I think you make some really great points about why we're seeing this lag that people didn't expect. One thing I did want to point out, which I think could be, highlight what you're talking about, is there are some World Cup cities in the U.S. that are doing pretty well. Cheaper places like Texas, Atlanta. I mean, New York is the exception, but they said that of all the host cities, it's us and Vancouver that are doing the worst, like places that are more expensive.
Well, Seattle might be a strong soccer town as far as local fans for soccer.
Absolutely.
But Seattle's not a soccer city, right? And the World Cup might be an international event, but it's not a Seattle event. I don't know anyone, I think, that's going to any matches, going to any sort of events.
We have a hand being raised over here.
You're the first hand.
You bought tickets in 2018?
No, my husband we got a text from someone saying, hey, I have some extra tickets. And so he's going to a game on Monday, and then we're going to a game, and we did not pay a lot. It was a couple $100.
Well, get ready for
extra tickets at this time, huh?
That's
what
the
does
point.
That say?
And that's the point. And so Greg, I think you hit it spot on from the beginning. I think there are so many, between immigration, the economy, and as all playing a role. And we are an expensive city to visit. The flights here are expensive. The hotels are expensive. It's a lot.
Oh my goodness. I mean, we flew just about a month ago, and we were astounded by the prices. And look, Strait of Hormuz, do you want to draw a straight connection to that? I think you can in some ways. But yeah, it's expensive to travel, and the geopolitical situation right now is somewhat tenuous.
Well, hopefully for those who are attending, we have a lot of fun. It is exciting. It's a big tournament.
I'll be watching today.
Yeah, let's go. All right, our next top story. Microsoft co-founder and philanthropist Bill Gates seems to be focused on the right thing, getting justice for victims of Jeffrey Epstein. That's what he said in an email after his appearance before the House Oversight Committee yesterday. Gates testified for several hours and said before entering the testimony area that he was showing up voluntarily in an effort to help with their investigation. Although it was a closed-door meeting, some lawmakers inside shared with reporters their takeaways. For example, U.S. Representative Emily Randall, a Democrat from Bremerton, said Gates was largely cooperative during the interview with lawmakers, but did have this to say.
Some of his answers show us that many of the men who engaged with Jeffrey Epstein only saw what they wanted to see in their interactions. Mr. Gates has said that he didn't see any abuse, and we know that some of the women who were present working for Mr. Epstein, who were at meetings, who were on planes, were being trafficked and being abused. Maybe not in front of Mr. Gates' eyes, not in front of the eyes of many people, but we've seen men willing to turn away, to not accept what we now know is happening.
U.S. Representative Melanie Stansbury from New Mexico said that Gates admitted that he knew of Epstein's reputation and his prior conviction, but ultimately, in his words, he viewed his relationship as being an acceptable means to access wealthy donors and support his foundation's global health initiative. Gates has said that he first met with Epstein in 2011, 3 years after the New York City financier was convicted of soliciting a minor for prostitution. So where do we start? Where do you want to start with this?
Oh, well, I'll say I think it's a good thing that he's testifying here. It'll be interesting to look at the transcript if and when that is released here to find out, if there's inconsistencies or consistencies in his testimony. You're correct to bring up the timeline here. It's extremely relevant because Gates' relationship or proximity to Epstein occurred large in part from 2011 to 2014. That matters. Because, as you said, in 2008, Epstein reached a plea agreement in Florida and pled guilty to soliciting prostitution for a minor and procuring a minor for prostitution. I mean, that's pretty dang serious.
Right.
In 2011, Gates was, I believe, the second richest person in the world. There was no way that he was not aware of Epstein's criminal history.
And he acknowledged that, yes.
Okay,
yep.
But that's more than just a lack in judgment to me. It comes across more as a blatant disregard of a truly despicable person and a monster. Melinda Gates famously said in an interview she knew within seconds of meeting Epstein that he was an evil man. Apparently her husband didn't get the memo on that. Now, at the current moment, there's zero evidence of Bill Gates being implicated in any illegal activity whatsoever, but at the very least, Angela, I think one of the things this story, showcases to so many people is that money, power, and influence, pardon the phrase, trumps all other considerations when it comes to relationships. And that's a troubling but a true fact. I mean, there's almost an endless list of powerful men that were close to Epstein even after this 2008 plea deal. Lawrence Krauss, Larry Summers, Ehud Barak, Jess Staley, Bill Gates, on and on and on. And that should make you sick to your stomach.
Absolutely. And at the same time, before we throw the stones, I guess, how often do we do this? How often do we know about someone's history or their behavior and we still choose to engage with them because of, whether it be access to something, for whatever reason. We were just having a debate in a friend group of mine about where you choose to invest your money. So someone saying, okay, well, you're investing in this stock. Well, this particular company did this type of thing. How far do we go with it? And I'm not, and trust me, actually, I agree. If I know that someone has done something like this, I don't want to engage with you, but I also want to call out, I don't think any of this stuff would exist, of this sex trafficking. I don't think any of it would exist if the majority of us would stop turning away and turning a blind eye to it. I think we do it all the time. We know it's out there. We see that something's off, and we don't stare it in the face and speak up.
Well said. The older I get, certain reoccurring questions come up over and over again in my mind, and one of them is directly related to this story. And that is, I'm constantly asking myself, where do I draw the line? Where do we draw the line? And also, what's the hill you want to choose to die on? And those questions never go away. And the older you get and the more responsibilities you get and the more roles you play in society and your community as a family, those questions become even more pertinent and important. And I really think if you are not constantly asking yourselves those questions, you will find yourself capable of things you never thought possible in a negative way.
Yes. Think about how often we have an athlete who is, let's say, convicted of domestic violence, like convicted or pled guilty or whatever. And
but they're so fast and they can catch that pigskin in an unbelievable way, Angela.
And even looking at who we have in our elected office as president right now, like actual things on tape of things that were said about grabbing women in this place, about being convicted I want to say on the civil side of sex abuse. And the reason I'm saying that, I'm not saying right or wrong whether you voted for him, but I'm saying there's a calculation. There was a calculation that said, despite this, I am willing to look away from that because this person is in alignment with my political beliefs.
But Bill, it's not that complex. Like, how many of us, knowing that someone was convicted of having sex with minors, would still knowingly hang out with them, despite the fact that our wife, within 2 seconds of meeting the guy, says, tell us, this guy is a freaking monster. I don't want you hanging around us. And Bill doesn't need Epstein's money. So why is he hanging around the dude? Is he that cool?
Well,
do any of us hang out with a monster that our wife tells us is a total creep?
To your
what does
point,
he need from Epstein?
There are
nothing except
there are thousands of billionaires in the world to choose from in terms of, hey, I want to tap into their network for philanthropic reasons, and so to support your point there a little bit, Andrew.
And Chef is, for those of you not watching on YouTube, Chef is laughing. So I take it you're not buying that it was just for philanthropic reasons.
He had his own foundation, one of the biggest philanthropic foundations in the country.
Okay, and so there's a spectrum here of compromise. And it's not what I mean is.
I'm alleging things
all
that I can't say out loud because people have attorneys.
Oh, there you go.
That's
there
what
you
I'm
go.
saying.
Choose your words carefully. All of us should be asking ourselves, what bit of my character am I willing to compromise, and how much do the ends justify the means? And I'm saying people should take a serious look in the mirror and draw that line a lot sooner than we think we should. But there's also, Angela, you know what I think about a lot? The fact that there are a lot of unsung heroes out there that have drawn the line early when it comes to the notion of compromising their character for a certain ends that we never hear from, that didn't get ahead, that didn't get rich, that didn't form relationships with the most powerful people around because they said, no, my integrity, my honor, my self-respect it is something that's priceless, and I don't want to give up in return for some kind of connection that can gain me an advantage. And I think about those people often because I bet there are hundreds, if not thousands of people like that all across the country that we'll never know their names.
Yeah. Because they sacrifice something.
Yeah, because
for it.
they sacrifice
and
something.
I think this is a perfect way to end this segment because obviously we reported on the testimony that happened. You know, we can have speculation about what the motives were, but at the end of the day, the takeaway is you put it beautifully. We all have to decide, what are we willing to compromise? What are we willing to look away from? What are we willing to sacrifice and use and look to our values to help us make that decision?
And this isn't just for the uber rich and powerful or the billionaires of the world. There are jobs out there and salaries out there that, pay $60,000, $70,000 where people will ask you to make a compromise of your character in order to attain that monetary value. And so again, all of us need to ask ourselves, what am I willing to give up? And what is my ultimate value?
Yeah.
Is it making a good paycheck? Is it forming that relationship where someone can give me an advantage? Or is my character something that is something I will never sacrifice?
Love it. Our top stories brought to you by Pendergast Law. Thank you so much for that. Thanks so much for listening to the Gee and Ursula Show. Coming up next, you may have heard the headlines about the OnlyFans house in Bellevue. These were young men running this, many of them athletes, good students. How do you go from that to running this kind of operation allegedly? We're going to talk about it next on the Gee and Ursula Show.
KIRO Newsradio, winner of 7 regional Edward R. Murrow Awards. Breaking news coverage, best newscast, excellence in writing, investigative reporting, sports reporting, hard news. Capped with a prestigious prize for overall excellence. And we thank you, our audience across the Pacific Northwest. You are the reason we strive to be the Northwest's trusted news source. KIRO Newsradio, 97.3 FM.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
It started as a puddle.
Where?
In the shower.
Uh-oh.
Then the kitchen sink.
Started backing up?
Yeah.
I know where this is going.
Clogged up.
Right. No problem.
Beg your pardon?
There's no clog we can't clear.
You're Dan.
From Apollo Plumbing.
This is going to get pricey.
How about $83?
To clear my drain?
Apollo Plumbing clears main drains every day.
For $83?
83 or it's free.
What's the catch?
No catch. We'll even do a camera inspection.
Why's that?
It's the best way to find the cause of your clog.
And it's included?
No extra charge. Truth is, we hate clogs.
I don't love them.
Seen them all.
Ew.
I promise. There's no clog Apollo can't clear.
Guaranteed.
83 or free.
Goodbye, slow drains.
All it takes is an accessible clean out.
And Apollo gets my drains draining again.
You call, we come, it's fixed.
My heroes.
Just doing our job.
Thank you, Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Healthcare costs are rising, and a major driver is hospital prices. They've increased more than 250% over the past 25 years. Families and local businesses are feeling it. At Primera Blue Cross, we're working to change that by negotiating with hospitals to secure fair, responsible prices so you can get the care you need at a cost you can afford. That's coverage that counts. Learn more at coveragethatcounts.primera.com.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Parango and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Wendy's new Biggie Deals lets you choose whatever you're in the mood for. It's like a music mixing board of deals, and you're the producer. Go with some chill folk music with a JBC in the $4 Biggie Bite snack. Try the drum and bass of deals with a double stack in the $6 Biggie Bag. Or go full-on sandwich symphony with an $8 Biggie Bundle, the grand finale of snacking. And the best part? They all come with napkins. $4, $6, and $8 Biggie Deals how you want them at Wendy's.
Price and participation may vary. Single items at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska, California, and Hawaii.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Upgrade your home with Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Be among the first 40 June projects to sign up for 5 or more installed windows and receive a free patio door. Plus, enjoy 12 months, no interest, no payments financing. LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? During the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, now through June 15th, new customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi, just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, add one line of Xfinity Mobile Select and you can save an average of $60 a month over Verizon and AT&T. You can even try it free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Savings based on 1 gig internet and 1 mobile select line compared to similar Verizon and AT&T plans over 5 years. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable.
Sully here. I help commuters get around. And look, you know the first key to a good commute? A car that starts in the morning. That only happens when it's serviced regularly and repaired correctly. That's why I recommend Bucky's Complete Auto Repair. They've been keeping neighbors rolling for over 50 years. Honest work, fair prices, and zero guessing about that check engine light, and you know it's going to come on. So take it to Buc-ee's. Your car and your commute will thank you. Visit Buc-ee's.com. That's Buc-ee's.com.
Whatever the heat index, stay cool this summer. Your local Bryant dealer can make sure your system is up to the task. Whether it's maintaining your current system or installing an energy-efficient Bryant Evolution cooling system with perfect Humidity Plus technology, your dealer will give you what you need to help your family beat the heat. Learn more and schedule an appointment with a factory-authorized dealer today at BryantNorthwest.com. That's BryantNorthwest.com. Bryant, whatever it takes.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. Fire officials from Washington, D.C. and Arlington, Virginia are responding to a partial shelter-in-place order from the Pentagon after a reported air quality issue inside the building. ABC News contributor and former Homeland Security official Elizabeth Newman says this is a typical response for this kind of alert.
Hopefully, everything we're seeing so far is just precautionary. Sometimes systems just, go awry. So maybe it's nothing. Maybe it is something, but it's not something nefarious. But of course, you are always trained to assume the worst because we want to keep people safe.
A man convicted of killing a Tacoma police officer in the 90s has now died in prison. The News Tribune reports 47-year-old Sap Cray died June 5th at the Monroe Correctional Complex. The Snohomish County Medical Examiner says the cause of death is still pending. Cray was serving life without parole for shooting and killing Tacoma police officer William Lowry back in 1997. Lowry was a part of the SWAT team trying to arrest Cray at a home on Tacoma's east side. The officer left behind a spouse and a 1-year-old child. A Yelm area man shot by a Thurston County deputy last week is now facing criminal charges. The incident began when firefighters responded to a blaze at a property with a history of prior law enforcement calls. A deputy attempted to move the man away from the fire.
Hey, John, the fire department's here if you want to let them do their thing.
They're not here yet.
They're here down there. John.
They'll be right here. No.
The 68-year-old then drew a handgun and pointed it directly at the deputy. The deputy opened fire, wounding him. The man was released from the hospital on Tuesday and later booked into jail for first-degree assault. The investigation is ongoing. An update on the aftermath and the chemical cleanup at the Nippon Dynawave packaging plant in Longview. KIRO 7 TV's Elle Thomas has more.
The Department of Ecology says decontamination where the toxic liquid spilled is only 23% complete. In the community, warning signs are being removed from dikes and drainage ditches because they say the pH levels are now safe. But right now, they're still asking people to avoid fishing or swimming in those areas. 11 people died in what's being called the deadliest industrial disaster in the state of Washington.
A Ballard family known for feeding customers at Seattle area farmers markets is now receiving help from the community after a devastating fire. KIRO 7 TV's Jack Bilyeu has more.
Seattle Fire says the fire was caused by a container of hot embers, which spread to a wood pile, then to the house. It caused an estimated $500,000 worth of damage.
Real genuine sense of loss and heartache for them.
Word traveled fast, and the manager of the Queen Anne Farmers Market took action immediately.
Didn't eat breakfast, didn't drink coffee, just hopped online and did my best to get a fundraiser up and running.
Within hours, his GoFundMe passed the $10,000 mark.
And now to your KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. This traffic report is brought to you by Harborstone Credit Union. In Everett, the crash on southbound I-5 at 529, the left lane has finally cleared. Linwood to Seattle is still just under an hour. Federal Way to Seattle is about an hour and 10 minutes right now. Linwood to Bellevue is about 52 minutes. Earn up to $30 per month for using your Harborstone PNW Cashback debit card. Open your free checking account online today at harborstone.com/cash. And for your weather, sunshine is on the way today. Warmer temperatures in the mid-60s. Right now, it's about 58 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Bruno Mars. Am I right, Angela?
Oh, yes, you nailed it.
Greg Tallman, Angela Poe Russell in on the Gee and Ursula Show. Thanks so much for joining us on this Thursday morning. A very disturbing story out of Bellevue. Man accused of running what prosecutors describe as an OnlyFans house has pleaded not guilty to human trafficking, money laundering, and leading organized crime groups. Court documents allege girls were recruited as early as age 16 with promises of making $8,000 to $10,000 a month and building online careers. Instead, prosecutors say 21-year-old Nikita Takalo forced women to create pornographic content for up to 20 hours a day, locked them out of their online adult content accounts, and kept the hundreds of thousands in earnings that those accounts generated. Takalo, in addition, allegedly beat and strangled these girls, dragged them by their hair, threatened them with an arsenal of firearms stashed throughout the property, and fed them Adderall like candy, quote unquote, to keep them performing. Just truly horrific stuff here, Angela. I don't know if you've been following this case at all, but so far there's just these charges against Takalo. Perhaps there'll be more charges to come.
Well, he didn't do this by himself.
Well, right.
So I'm wondering, like, where are the other charges? Like, he's not alone. So that's the first point I would make. The second thing is, I don't know if most of us realize how some of this stuff starts. It appears to be a legitimate business sometimes, and so women will sometimes sign up for these things, and next thing you know, it's a bait and switch. They may have their documents taken. If there are people who are immigrants, passports taken, and all of a sudden they're in a situation they can't get out of. It sounds like in this case, they were told, hey, you can come be part of this, you'll make money, and then all of a sudden it's not what you signed up for, and it's changed. I mean, these are the allegations against them. But I think what strikes me, because I was reading through some of the charging documents, and like I said, he was not by himself. And what strikes me is someone mentioned, or I should say the document mentions, that one person would watch as the other person is being beat up and giving him these Adderall pills. And how do we get to a point where, as a 20-year-old man or a 21-year-old man, you're okay beating up someone, watching someone get beaten up? I'm floored by how many people are involved in this kind of thing, and how it seems like we're desensitized to it.
If you know me at all, Angela Poe Russell, I think you know where I'm going to go with this one. And that is the smartphone.
Oh, the phones. Okay.
This generation that has grown up, the average age of a child to get a smartphone, access to the world on it, is 12 or 13 years old. And it's worse than giving these kids a pack of cigarettes. And so many parents ignorantly or naively give their children a smartphone, and all of a sudden they can find everything that is good and noble and true about the world on it, and everything that is depraved, evil, and horrific on it instantly. And 12-year-olds who are not mature in the vast majority of cases don't know how to wield this tool and its power. And especially so with young girls, the issue is largely social pressure. And I'll make some sweeping statements here, but they're large in part based on Jonathan Haidt's book, The Anxious Generation. Girls face anxiety, depression, and social pressure. That is the main things they face with these smartphones, and particularly social media. Young men, it's pornography. And if a 12 or 13-year-old begins to get too exposed to pornography, they're able to indulge the worst part of their human primal impulses. And something psychologically, I think, happens with these young boys when they see copious amounts of this stuff that's readily available. They don't know how to process it, right? Brain isn't done forming till they're 24. They just have a feeling when they see this stuff, and they get addicted very early on. But what happens with regular consumption of pornography is a dehumanization aspect to the whole exercise, which is this human being that I'm witnessing exists merely as an object for my satisfaction. And so once you have made that compromise with your soul that these kids don't know that they're making, you get on this slippery slope to worse and worse and worse things. And I was struck by this Nikita Takalo's age of only 21. Like, this doesn't happen overnight.
That's what I'm saying.
This was a slow burn to become this alleged monster. You know what I mean? And I really think all roads lead back to the smartphone and kids not knowing how to use it and getting an early exposure and desensitization to these really profound dynamics.
Right. What about the content on the smartphone? This story led me to think about the kinds of debates that we were having when I was growing up. So I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, and I remember seeing all these people, especially in the conservative party, debating, saying we need to put regulations around the music and the movies.
Do you remember the parental advisory debate?
All of that.
Wasn't it Tipper Gore?
Yes, yeah. And I remember thinking, okay, whatever. And so fast forward, we're here, and now it's normal for someone like Bruno Mars, who we were just listening to call women the B word. Mm-hmm. And that's on the radio. Now it's like the kinds of content that we can consume. I mean, it's okay to just see a stabbing on regular I mean, we have no boundaries anymore when it comes to content. All of it is being flooded, unregulated, it seems, into the phones of kids who are consuming it. And then we sit back and say, well, I don't understand what happened to the kids.
Yes.
And so maybe they were right. Maybe there was something about we need to find a way to protect our kids from this kind of...
Angela, we deal with this stuff on a weekly basis in our household. So my son, who's just 12, was invited to see like one of the latest horror movies that is out right now in Hollywood. And I did a little like Common Sense Media thing on why is this rated R.
Common Sense Media.
They're great.
Yeah.
And it gives you like, here's what parents think. Here's what our official review is. Here's what we think this material is appropriate for what age group. And I log on to Common Sense Media and I'm just like, why is this horror movie rated R? And the horrific acts that were described in this movie, I thought, I don't even want to see that as a 43-year-old, let alone my 12-year-old seeing it. And this was a group of 12-year-olds that was going. And I thought, does the rated R thing mean anything to anybody anymore? It's supposed to be restricted, right? When I was young, you had to like go to extreme lengths to try to sneak into an R-rated movie if you were under 17. And so my first question was, are they just admitting a group of 12-year-olds without asking any questions to this movie that has extreme adult content in it? So you want to talk about desensitization? We have failed society-wide in protecting the minds of our young children. Okay, now I'm a freedom guy, and in some aspects I lean libertarian when you're an adult, when you become an adult. But you have to protect young people's cognitive critical thinking, their maturity.
You also have to be aware of what content that they're consuming, right? And you have to be able to monitor that. What no one has brought up is where these guys got the idea. Because what they are doing is a playbook that is played out for generations. And that is a young man or an older man finds a vulnerable young woman, creates a connection with them, offers them either a relationship or the ability to make money, all of a sudden then puts them in a situation where they're exploiting themselves. The only difference is this is online. These guys got the playbook from the two most prominent figures in the manosphere, and that is Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate. What they are accused of in Romania is exactly the same thing. Contacting women through social media, promising them a relationship or money, convincing them to travel to their home where they're either then convinced or coerced into creating pornographic content. The men then control their financial accounts. In Tate's case, he often took their passports. They're threatened with violence. They are threatened with having their intimate images leaked to family and friends. There's a cycle of shame and fear. Where did the guys get the playbook from? Hey, the dudes who have dominated the mental spaces of young men for about the last 8 to 10 years. Go look at the manosphere. Yeah, and keep your damn kids off it.
And by the way, go check out Louis Theroux's Inside the Manosphere documentary on Netflix, which is illuminating, shocking, and difficult to watch, but it'll give you a window into this sort of subculture that's not becoming so much of a subculture anymore. It's almost becoming more mainstream, which is
maybe don't
awful.
let your kids watch it.
No, and do not let the kiddies watch it.
Inside the Manosphere on Netflix. That's it. Okay, great. All right, you're listening to the Gee and Ursula Show. We're back in a minute. What are we talking about in 947? Oh, Washington State is both rich and miserable, according to a new study. What? Okay, we'll dive deep. Stay with us.
There are 6 markets you can place your money in. Research suggests it's better to have exposure to all 6 markets. Don't miss a potential opportunity because you didn't strategically diversify your assets. Hi, Jeff here with Madrona Financial and CPAs. Request your no-cost Madrona analysis today and discover what you may be missing in your portfolio. Call 833-673-7373 right now to request your analysis. That's 833-673-7373.
Spike O'Neill here for Ageless Living. Recently, my aunt had surgery and she was home the next day. But we weren't sure if we were ready or equipped to give the kind of care that she needed, so we called Ageless Living and asked about respite care. A short-term stay that provides 24/7 expert care, Ageless Living amenities, and peace of mind for you and your family. Go to agelessliving.com/spike and schedule a visit. It can be a much-needed break for a caregiver and a chance for you and your family to get a look and a taste of what Ageless Living offers. That's agelessliving.com/spike.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Join the conversation and text your favorite show on the KIRO News Radio text line at 888-973-KIRO. That's 888-973-5476. Powered by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Your medication for enlarged prostate is working. That's what you tell yourself. You're up 3 times a night instead of 5. The urgency is manageable. The stream's not great, but it's fine. That's the problem. Fine. Enlarged prostate, or BPH, doesn't pause because the medication takes the edge off. The prostate keeps growing. The bladder keeps working harder. And over time, those changes can be harder to reverse. But surgery? Not for you, right? Aquablation is not the surgery you're picturing. It's the only ultrasound-guided, robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Don't wait until things become unbearable. Find an Aquablation urologist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466. 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
Digging in my yard, trying to lay a pipe. I hit a water line and now I have to pay a big fine. I should have called 811.
Summer's supposed to be fun. When the kids are home all day, the groceries, they add up fast. G. Scott here with a quick heads up from Safeway. There's a program called Sunbucks that gives qualifying families $120 per child for summer groceries. Some families are signed up automatically and will get a card in the mail. Others need to apply. Take a minute to check. It could really help put food on the table for your family. Head to freesummermeals.org to find out more. That's freesummermeals.org.
Under these arches, opposing teams are put to the test. Can they hear themselves over the boom of the 12s? Can they withstand the Seattle elements? Can they compete against us?
Touchdown! Seahawks!
This city lives for Sunday. Get your tickets for Seahawks game days at Lumen Field and experience what this city lives for. Visit Seahawks.com today.
Summer's right around the corner. Can you say World Series? I don't want to jinx anybody. And I don't want to jinx that heating system or cooling system that you have, but it could possibly out at home. So the best thing to do right now is to replace the system. You want it done right and done fast. Upgrade your cooling now with Home Comfort Alliance. Their 60-second online price estimator makes it so easy. Upgrade to a Lennox cooling system and get a new heating system free. Plus available utility rebates. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com today.
Greg Tomlin and Angela Poe Russell in on the Gee and Ursula Show. Thank you for joining the program here on KIRO Radio. Thought-provoking piece by Danny Westneat in the Seattle Times. Washington State is both rich and miserable, study finds. And there's a big question mark after the word coincidence in the title here. And it's eye-catching, and it's also one of those timeless subjects, Angela. I think of that song from 1927, The Best Things in Life Are Free. And then I also think of that song from the 1960s, The Best Things in Life Are Free, but you can give them to the birds and bees. I want money. What do you make of this? Yeah, we appear to be prospering as a region when it comes to our monetary lives for the most part, but deeply unhappy.
You know, I think there are two lanes as I see this. I think in general, we know that having money and wealth doesn't make us happy, but we always think it does.
But we want it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, want it anyway. I feel like I can have a better chance of being happier if my, needs are met. But here's the thing about those studies is they show us the threshold is once your needs are met. If your needs aren't met, it's hard to be happy regardless. But once your needs are met, the happiness threshold doesn't go up from there. So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect that I wonder is, okay, we appear to be this prospering place, but are we really? Like if people feel like, hey, I'm having to work 2 jobs or I can't buy a home. In other words, are we looking prosperous on the surface, but in terms of what life is like, maybe it doesn't feel so great.
And this gives you a window into my thought process, Angela, but this is another issue that I go back and forth on all the time. I just saw this video of an interview with Warren Buffett the other day. I think he's in his 90s now. What's his organization called or his company called? I always forget. Andrew would probably know it off the Berkshire.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah,
okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He's a billionaire, and he was talking about changes and advancements in his lifetime in terms of medicine, standard of living, and so on and so forth. And he said when he was born, the world he was born into, they didn't even have Novocaine in dentistry, right? He said the richest person in the world at that time when he was born wasn't living better than most middle-class people are living today. And I have to take him out as he's a brilliant guy. And in many ways, I agree with him. And at the same time, I think the dynamic you describe also exists, where it's harder for people to own a home than it ever has been before. And so it's like, can both of these things be true at the same time? Where in many ways, life has become more comfortable. Most people have 2 to 3 television sets. I mean, believe it or not. Okay, that's a luxury. Warren Buffett also said in this interview, if you wanted to watch a game of sports when he was born, you had to go to the game. And now we have, thousands of games on a day from a million different channels. That's a luxury. That's a pleasure that you can instantly fulfill. I don't know. So I'm torn. That is what I'm kind of saying.
What that makes me think about is it's hard to be happy if you're lonely. And if we have taken away the things that bring us together, that creates a happiness problem. And I mean, just like last night, there was a Knicks game and, my husband watched it at home. But if we were to go off what Warren just said, it used to be he would go to the local pub or you'd go see it in person or what, I don't know.
You have to read about it in the paper the next day.
Yeah.
And surely you've lived enough life as I have now. And at times and in different seasons, you feel little pangs of either jealousy or envy start to bubble up, seeing how somebody else is living or seeing, man, they have a lot of advantages or they go on a lot of vacations or, will I ever get to that point? I get those feelings from time to time.
And what makes that worse?
I don't know.
Social media.
Tell me. Social media makes it 1,000 times worse. Of course. Okay. Yeah. But then when you get those little moments, it's important to gain some clarity, and that is perspective and reflection. And if you think about your life, as I have, and I do probably think about it too often about, okay, where's the arc of my life going? Really, the things that I enjoy the most are the free things, truly and deeply. And most of the time, I'd say 100% of the time, they're relational. It's like the relationship to my spouse, to my kids, to my extended family, to my friends. I mean, it really doesn't cost a whole lot to have a beverage and sit down and have a great conversation with your friend for 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And by the way, if you're on a yacht in St. Bart's, you're kind of doing the same thing, but the aesthetic has just changed a little bit. And so really, it pays dividends just to wake up and go, if I truly find myself content and satisfied with the things I already have, I think you'll find the happiness start to increase tenfold and stop worrying about what everybody else is doing with their money who are in your proximity.
I think that was a mic drop.
Was that a mic drop?
Oh, it absolutely was. I think that's
or a word salad.
No, I think the powerful thing that you said that resonated with me is that you find that if we are grateful for what we have, somehow everything else just seems to only get better.
My wife always says, what you focus on grows.
Yes.
And you get to choose what you focus on, and then it'll grow from there.
All right. For this episode of Oprah.
Exactly. It did sound a little Oprah-ish, didn't it?
No, I'm here
hilarious.
for it. Oprah was it's been very successful. Okay, we're 5 minutes away from the 10 o'clock hour. We still have a lot to talk about. We're glad that you're hanging with us. If you'd like to text, we're at 1-888-973-5476. The Gee and Ursula Show continues in a few minutes.
From the people who brought you It's the Dog Park comes...
Your dog is limping, but she seems fine. Plus, you've heard they can fake it just to get what they want. So what's the deal now? You're being gaslit.
Protect your dog from injury and illness with Progressive Pet Insurance.
Oh, now she switched legs. What a diva.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Covered subject to policy terms.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Let's say you get into a car accident. You end up getting hurt. You're missing work, and now the insurance company wants you to handle the paperwork yourself while you're still recovering. Here's what happens when you go it alone. They throw out a lowball offer. You're on defense from minute one, and you're scraping for a fair shake against people who do this for a living. But here's what happens when you call Harold Carr Law Offices. They handle everything. The paperwork, the negotiation, the insurance company, all of it. You focus on getting better. They focus on getting you what you actually deserve. And trust me, that number is almost always higher than what you would have walked away with on your own. 7 locations across Western Washington, a huge qualified team, and a free consultation at carlaw.com. Carr is spelled with 2 R's, C-A-R-R. They'll actually listen to you and give you an honest assessment without any pressure. That's carlaw.com. 2 R's in car. Car accident? Call Carr. C-A-R-R. carlaw.com.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Perungo and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked In buildings, stay ready. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Guys, it's Men's Health Month at Revive Seattle. Get a free comprehensive wellness panel. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, heart health, and more. Valued at $400. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. At the Pentagon, hazmat crews on scene and sections of the Pentagon are on lockdown after reports of an air quality issue. That according to 3 officials. ABC News Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas says employees in sections of the high security building are now being told to shelter in place as hazmat crews investigate.
We want to emphasize we don't yet know what this incident is. We know that the monitors went off at the Pentagon based on what they're saying publicly at this moment. But again, the threat environment is so challenging because we've had a spike in politically motivated violence. We have obvious concerns with the ongoing conflict in Iran. There's been concerns about domestic incidents. There's been concerns about mass shootings.
A Pentagon spokesperson says a triggered system necessitated these precautionary measures. An ABC News contributor and former Homeland Security official Elizabeth Newman says it's standard protocol. This is ABC News. Language can oftentimes be a barrier between police and those on scene of a crime. Now one community has introduced something that can help.
In Renton, Washington, police officers have a new tool aimed at improving communication during encounters with those who don't speak English. This is what it sounds like.
Language set to Spanish.
Hello, I'm Officer Vanderhook with the Renton Police. How can I help you?
Hola. Every body cam can now translate into 56 different languages. They're hoping to use it during the World Cup as it approaches Seattle. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes has signed a reworked contract that is worth just over $500 million. The 2-year deal makes him the first person in the NFL to sign a deal worth $500 million. His rookie contract in 2017, a 4-year, $16.4 million deal. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
City leaders are focused on Seattle's Aurora Avenue, but first, KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. This traffic report is brought to you by Lake Washington Windows and Doors. The Valley Freeway is running about a half an hour right now from the Puyallup area to Renton. It'll take you about 33 minutes out of Renton up to Bellevue. The Federal Way to Seattle Drive is about 55 minutes right now. Coming down out of Snohomish County, it's about an hour from Everett to Seattle. Right now, Lake Washington Windows and Doors is giving the first 40 June signups with 5 or more windows, a free patio door, plus 12-month free financing. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gauchard. Seattle officials are set to announce a new plan today to address ongoing gun violence along Aurora Avenue. City leaders will reveal the proposed measures during a press conference at noon outside council chambers. We also have some new information passed along to us from G. Scott. We understand Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson will join council members, the police chief, and the city attorney to discuss an action plan. This is noteworthy. It's the first joint appearance on this issue after separate statements from Wilson and council members about the Aurora Avenue. Earlier this week, Keith Carpenter, pastor of Epic Life Church, told city council members exactly what he's seeing.
There's 12, 13, and 14-year-old girls being trafficked along Aurora Avenue in motels and backseats of SUVs. And nobody's doing anything about the pimps and Johns and taking these girls off the street.
KIRO News Radio's James Lynch will be at the press conference at noon. Bill Gates spent hours behind closed doors on Capitol Hill yesterday answering questions about his ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The Microsoft co-founder told the House Oversight Committee he never saw any criminal behavior. Washington Congresswoman Emily Randall questioned Gates, saying it appears he turned a blind eye.
We've seen men willing to turn away, to not accept what we now know is happening. And so our work is to continue asking questions.
Gates says meeting with Epstein was a grave error in judgment. He also testified that Epstein tried to blackmail him using knowledge of his affairs. We're days away from the World Cup matches in Seattle, and tickets are still available and prices seem to be dropping. But there is something more that you should know. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin reports.
SeatPick says there are more than 2,000 tickets available for each of the first 4 matches here. The U.S. versus Australia has the least, with about 2,100 tickets still available. But those come at a hefty price. For that game, the tickets currently start at $1,800. They go to about $4,800 per ticket. For Seattle's first match on Monday between Belgium and Egypt, you can get tickets from $586 all the way up to $6,100, but those are pretty good tickets.
A massive floating fan zone is on the city's waterfront ahead of the World Cup. The Seattle Soccer Celebration features a barge anchored near Pier 62 with a mini soccer pitch, a giant LED video screen, food vendors, and activities for fans. The ribbon cutting was last night.
Congratulations, Seattle!
The barge was created by the Sounders, Rain, and Rave Foundation. Renton is getting ready for the world's biggest soccer celebration, too. Tomorrow, they'll host the Renton Ready to Play at Legacy Square. The family-friendly watch party features live broadcast matches, themed activities, interactive displays, and food trucks. The free event runs from 1 until 5:30 on South.
Morning. Welcome to the Gee and Ursula Show. I'm Angela Poe Russell filling in. Along with Greg Tomlin. But we still have Chef. I guess I'm thinking of your name, like Andrew, but we all know you as Chef. And Chef, you are cooking. Nick, it's good to have you as always. So thank you so much for being with us. We have a lot coming up. But first, let's get to what's new at 10 o'clock.
What's new at 10?
One of the nation's most prominent diabetes researchers was removed from a medical conference by police after the American Diabetes Association itself made that call. Why? Dr. Stephen Kahn, director of the UW's Diabetes Research Center, was handing out an op-ed. Dr. Stephen Kahn joins us now. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks a lot, Angela. Good to be with you guys.
Dr. Kahn, let's talk about, it was you and several other scientists handing out this op-ed, as I understand it, quietly. What is in this op-ed that they didn't want you handing it out?
It's actually it's an editorial in a journal called Diabetes Care that is published by the American Diabetes Association. So it's their own journal. And for the last 4 years, I've had the honor to actually edit the journal. And so myself and 3 deputy editors, all leaders in the field, one from Hopkins, one from UNC, one from UCSD, wrote an editorial which we called Misguided Brushes of a Pen, Continue to Dismantle and Destroy Biomedical Research in the United States. We can no longer afford complacency and fear. We must all act now. And I think it's important to put into context why we were handing these things out. So the American Diabetes Association meeting, which is their big scientific meeting, every year occurs in June and attracts over 10,000, anywhere between 10 and 20,000 people to this meeting to learn the latest science and what is going on with diabetes. And people who come range from clinicians who are trying to learn more about clinical practice to basic scientists sharing all their work. The American Diabetes Association, in their judgment, thought it was a good idea to invite the director of NIH, Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, to speak as a keynote speaker in the opening session of the meeting, and had nobody there to act in terms of speaking as a balance to him, and there were to be no questions, nothing. It turns out he canceled, so he sent one of his advisors who read a speech on MAHA rather than dealing with diabetes and what people were interested in terms of NIH funding. So a group of 10 of us decided to hand out this editorial that had appeared online in May and was in the June issue of Diabetes Care in a very passive way to people going into the hall, sort of akin to you're standing somewhere and somebody wants to give you a flyer to come into a restaurant and you say yes or you say no and you take it. That's all that we were doing. And we were handing out this editorial as a means to provide some balance to what was likely to be said in that hall over a period of the next hour. We had barely started handing these things out, then we were all set upon by security ranging from non-uniform security, uniform security, and Louisiana State Police. Mm-hmm. And 3 of us were taken outside and 2 people were inside had their name badges taken away. So we were told we can no longer attend the conference.
This is wild.
Dr. Khan, I take it you've attended perhaps many American Diabetes Association conferences over the years?
I have attended conferences since 1986, so this may be my 40th one.
1986. So I think that they're claiming that there was a code of conduct that was violated here. And how do you understand that? Or how do you read that? Was it specific that you were not to be handing out any materials that might be deemed political in nature and not scientific? Or what do you make of the pushback you're getting for why you're asked to leave or forced to leave?
I think the pushback is a changing story. So we've heard three different reasons why this happened.
Okay.
The first one was that we were disruptive and refused to give up the paperwork, which is totally untrue. And in fact, the fifth person who had her lanyard taken away was that occurred when one of the people asked the security guy in charge, "Have you got enough people?" And he said, "No, I want one more." She was standing there without any paperwork in a group of people who had all given up their papers, the copies of this editorial, and she then had her lanyard taken away. So that's the one side. Three of us were taken outside, like I said, and one of them was quite manhandled, and subsequently one of them was in fact threatened with physical violence if he said anything again. And when you come back to the code of conduct, that's what they claim we broke, that we were disruptive, which was totally untrue. We were doing nothing to that effect. A day later, they came with, we didn't get the materials approved, and we're handing out materials inside and outside meeting rooms. Well, we were outside a meeting room in the corridor. We weren't inside the hall this was going to take place on. Nobody can find any evidence that there's a code of conduct that says that. And when you speak to people who've been to this meeting like I have for years, there's always stuff being given out in the corridor. So this hasn't been applied.
Yeah.
And then the third thing that came up was they put a posting on LinkedIn in which they claimed that the reason why this was done was to protect their nonpartisan, nonprofit status. Well, the only thing that becomes partisan is if you talk about politics in terms of one side of the aisle or the other side of the aisle. But if you're an organization like this that's a non-profit organization, allowing people to speak, and for you declaring that some legislation is not good in the interest of people with diabetes is okay. I would argue the partisanship, if anywhere, was in there a choice to invite the director of NIH. Now, I understand he's a federal official, but we all know those federal officials are appointments that are made based on political persuasion.
All right. Well, I think we should get to the heart of this because this action happened, but you clearly have something you're trying to say, writing these editorials. So in your latest op-ed, you write that we are staring down the complete destruction of America's world-class biomedical research enterprise. Why is that? Why are the red alarms going off for you?
So, Angela, the answer to that one's really simple. The Office of Management and Budget, which basically oversees how the money that's given by Congress to the administration is handled, has put out a notice to suggest they want to put into place new rules that would affect absolutely every federal department. And from our perspective, absolutely every research grant that a federal department awards. And they put into this, and it's a 400-page document, which obviously we don't have time to deal with, but some things just to highlight, for example, is that to go to this American Diabetes Association meeting, if this was to become the rules that applied, I would actually have, and I had a federal grant, I would have to ask the federal government for permission to travel to this meeting, which could be given the day before when you don't have any airfare, nothing set up. So it just goes on and on and on like this. So that's the one side. You cannot subscribe to journals with federal money. You cannot have membership in societies without federal money. Individuals trainees whose travel is dependent on federal grants that they are trained on will not be able to go to meetings if they put this into place and decide to do that. That's just the one side. The other side that is even worse in my mind is that, to give you a little bit of background, let's assume I'm writing a grant. I submit the grant to NIH. It gets reviewed by my peers in an anonymous way, a group of them at what's called a study section. That study section then ranks the grants based on the quality of the science that they believe is there. It then goes to a medical advisory council, which is a group of academic scientists and lay people that work with that particular institute at NIH to say, all right, these are the grants we're going to fund because we can only fund the top 12%, so this is what it is. Under the new proposal, it doesn't matter if your grant was the top grant in the pile. A political appointee can simply say, we're not funding this because we don't believe in what it proposes to study, or we don't believe in the politics of the individual who's written it, or thinking here in Seattle, where we've got a phenomenal institution, the University of Washington, which has unbelievable science, and particularly medical science and diabetes. They could simply say, well, Seattle's got enough money. Why don't we give this money to someplace like New Orleans? And there's no reason for it except politics. So basically, they're going to break the whole thing down.
Well, what are the Trump administration's reasons for wanting to implement these actions, and why, in your opinion, don't they have any merit?
Well, I think they don't have any merit to start with on the basis that, you should be funding the best science that's available and supporting it. And I would argue to you, and we can talk a little bit about that in a minute, that some of the biggest discoveries that we think about today in terms of healthcare would not happen without NIH, okay? And what is their reason for blocking it? It's all political. I think it's all this conservative approach. You can take it back to the woman's right to choose, everything they've tried to destroy. Here, I think it is the science, for example. We talk about vaccines. We know what's going on with Secretary Kennedy and the approach to vaccines and autism. Anything that they don't think fits their agenda is now up for grabs as far as they're concerned.
And I just want to say this, for example, it's being proposed that they can terminate grants at any time for any reason.
Correct.
So typically, once you get a grant, that grant is promised. So again, a political appointee could make that call. Let's say if you're at an institution, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if they don't like, let's say, a choice you made in some other area, or you're accused of DEI or whatever, they could say, okay, we're going to terminate this grant in another space, which then makes research political, not based on science. Do I have that correct?
Angela, 100% correct. And let me just add to that. Consider yourself for the moment that you're a researcher and you've got 5 people working in your lab that are being paid for by 2 or 3 grants. And you then get told in the middle of the cycle, that the grant's got 3 more years to run. You get told we're closing down 2 of your 3 grants immediately. First of all, you don't get the research done. That's one thing. But all these people's lives are at stake. So it's impossible as an individual to plan ahead knowing what you've got, because you're always potentially at risk. And then when you think about the institution, how does the institution plan? How does faculty like myself, who get a lot of my salary from research grants, but also teach and would be doing clinical care, all of that becomes problematic. And how do you fit that all in if suddenly part of my salary that's dependent on these grants is just taken away by, as we wrote in the editorial, a misguided brush of a pen?
What do you make of the budget constraints argument that's going on right now in regards to the NIH? Because I think there's no question that biomedical research is enormously important, enormously valuable. I don't think anyone is making claims to the contrary. The question is whether or not the way that the NIH system is operating now is an effective use of taxpayer dollars. I know the NIH spends almost $50 billion annually. The administration has argued that roughly $9 billion of NIH grant spending was going to indirect costs and overhead, not research. How do you respond to that?
I think it's just like anything else. You've got to have infrastructure. And if the federal government wants us to be doing research, and I do agree that there's some places that have very high indirect cost rates, but how do you pay for the light in the lab? How do you pay for the water in the lab? How do you pay for that infrastructure? It's not like the universities have that money pouring in. Philanthropy doesn't provide that money. This is the cost of doing business. And that's what the NIH has got to pay for, or the Department of Energy or the Department of Defense. You have to cover those costs. For the big departments in the government, they get given that money to put on the lights and to have water, et cetera, et cetera. The universities don't get that money directly, so they have to get it from these indirect costs.
And I know you're making the case that the Trump administration is turning things political here in terms of needing approval from a government bureaucrat for various grants and whatnot. How would you respond to the argument that the Trump administration is actually having a reflex to what they diagnose as the NIH as having become too political under the Biden administration, with things like DEI workforce grants, transgender health research, structural racism research, and so on and so forth? They're kind of making the same argument you are, but just from a different side of the political spectrum.
I mean, I think that's an argument they make, but I think we need a middle of the road, and I think they're being totally extreme. Part of the things they were suggesting, for example, is that if we said we wanted to evaluate some condition that we know occurs more in men or women, they might argue, well, you can't study both genders because we don't want that. I mean, who knows? Or you want to study a condition like sickle cell disease that occurs predominantly in blacks. They might argue, well, you're only studying blacks. That's not what you should get. That is all you need to do, when we should be arguing you need to understand what's happening by studying diverse populations. And so I think their approach is really crazy. And, you know, it goes back even to a total misunderstanding of what goes on. In one of his speeches to Congress on Capitol Hill, President Trump talked about mice. When we talk about transgenic mice, he called them transgender mice, and that was a problem. So, you know, it's just, the whole thing is just a little bit too, in my mind, become too politicized. But there's no attempt, I think, to try and find common ground here. That's the problem. And, you know, now I should also say they're killing international research, right? Part of this latest OMB thing is that they're fundamentally, if you want to collaborate with the world's top scientist, a Nobel Prize winner in the United Kingdom, you have a very good chance you'll be told no, because the money that would be flowing to that person as part of your grant would not be allowed to go. So they're basically killing it at every level. And I do want to go back before we move on and just highlight why I think this becomes a problem when they start to do this political processing of who gets grants and who doesn't get grants. I want you just to think today, right? How many people are taking weight loss medications? Millions. Where were they discovered? How were they discovered? They were discovered with federal money. Once they were discovered and things had really been understood, that's when the pharmaceutical industry ran with them. If we don't have federal money going to support the best science, there potentially would be no drugs that we use now for weight loss. If you look at the continuous glucose monitors that people with diabetes use, and you might see people running around everywhere with those little buttons on their arms, those come out of NIH work. Pumps, insulin pumps for people with diabetes and all that technology comes from NIH money. Industry picks these things up once they've got through the early stages. If we cut NIH funding, there are no early stages. Cancer drugs, you can go on and on and on. The list is huge. And this is the fallout that we're going to have that's going to really affect everybody who's listening to this call and everybody around the country at the end of it if this sort of process continues.
It's my understanding you run a federally funded institution, correct?
I run a diabetes research center, which is federally funded and is located here, at the University of Washington.
Are you worried about the fact that you're speaking up and having that money taken for being vocal about some of this?
So these rules aren't in place yet, Angela, but I think unless Congress steps up and unless the public steps up, they're going to become in place. Am I worried about it? Absolutely, yes. I think what happened this weekend, which transpired for no reason other than the American Diabetes Association not thinking of the consequences, has made the world, because the story has been international, truly, literally international with the press coverage and stuff like that, they've made this issue of biomedical research up there up front. And I think what it's effectively done is put a target on my back. So why do I say that? Because the center that I run here at the University of Washington is up for what's called a competing renewal, where it'll go in and be evaluated by, as I talked about, a study section. And I could quite easily see it coming through the process to the desk of a political person who says, oh, that's that guy who's been speaking out. Even though it got the top score out of the 20 grants, we're not giving it to Seattle. And that could be the outcome of all of this. So yes, it is a problem. And that center just again, to what does it mean? It employs 30 people. It supports 100 scientists here at the University of Washington. All that will disappear because Stephen Kahn is not on our political list as good. He's on our political list as bad.
Dr. Stephen Kahn, really appreciate the time and the conversation. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. And I would ask that the public think about what's going on and put their concerns out to their congressmen and people like that if they feel this is a problem.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Greg Tallman and Angela Poe Russell.
That is, I mean, handing out flyers at a conference and being removed by police and what he's I mean, I'm just kind of in shock over it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you have interviews and you know, you move on, and this one I'm kind of just processing.
I was thinking the same thing.
Right?
I have lots more to say about this. So maybe we'll get to it on the other side of the break, or maybe we'll move on. We'll see. We'll talk to Chef about it.
Yeah.
Greg Tallman, Angela Poe Russell in on the Gee and Ursula Show. Stick around. We'll be right back.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? During the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, now through June 15th, new customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi, just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, add one line of Xfinity Mobile Select and you can save an average of $60 a month over Verizon and AT&T. You can even try it free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Savings based on 1 gig internet and 1 mobile select line compared to similar Verizon and AT&T plans over 5 years. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Parango and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
You could sleep through the night without thinking twice. You could take a seat in the middle of the theater. You could drive without worry of where the next restroom is. You used to say yes, and somewhere along the way, you stopped. Not because of one big moment, because of 100 small ones. A little more urgency, one more trip to the bathroom at 2 a.m., one more mental note about where the restroom is. It happened slowly enough that it just became you. But it's not you. It's enlarged prostate, and there's a treatment called aquablation therapy, the only ultrasound-guided robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Find an aquablation therapist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466, 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks, and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
Olympic Hot Tub has more ways than ever to achieve total wellness at home. Immerse yourself in a saltwater hot spring spa and let jets melt stress away. Enjoy a refreshing swim in an endless pool swim spa. Retreat to healing warmth and detox in a Tilo sauna. Then awaken mind and body with a cold plunge. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. Your path to wellness starts today at Olympic Hot Tub. Current specials with exciting savings at olympichottub.com. Better you, better life.
Home Comfort Alliance, a Carrier factory authorized dealer delivering efficiency, reliability, and quiet performance every time. John Curley here. Upgrade to Carrier cooling and get a heating system free. Use their 60-second price estimator at homecomfortalliance.com.
Underestimating the trucking industry is one of the biggest mistakes I see victims and other lawyers make. Trucking companies have an army of lawyers and experts who act quickly after an accident to protect the company. Only an experienced trucking accident lawyer can navigate the complicated federal and state laws to protect your rights. If you or a loved one has been injured in a trucking accident, call Davis Law Group today for a free consultation. or get my free book on trucking accident law at washingtonaccidentbooks.com.
Digging in my yard, trying to lay a pipe. I hit a water line and now I have to pay a big fine. I should have called 811.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all. Sound like your home? Then call for your free inspection.
InsulationNorthwest.com. Your windows and doors play a huge role in your home's efficiency and comfort. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors for windows that are up to 25% more energy efficient than Energy Star standards and reduce noise by up to 50%. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com today.
Upgrade your home with Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Be among the first 40 June projects to sign up for 5 or more installed windows and receive a free patio door. Plus, enjoy 12 months no interest, no payments financing. LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. Hazmat crews and emergency response teams rushed to the Pentagon this morning over what the Defense Department called an on-air or air quality issue. ABC's Catherine Folders has more.
When something happens in a building, such as the Pentagon, the police department will send in their hazmat team as they work to determine what exactly has happened. Now, what we don't know is we don't know why the systems in the Pentagon detected an air quality issue that needed to necessitate these precautionary measures. They said they are working to determine its significance.
More problems at King County's Regional Homelessness Authority after auditors say the agency still is not addressing significant financial problems. KIRO News Radio's John Repp has the latest.
The news site Publicola reports not just one red flag, but 7 red flags from auditors. You'll recall the initial audit uncovered $13 million in money the agency couldn't account for, along with $44 million in operating deficits. Auditors now say the plan to fix those issues still ignores several high-risk problems. This all comes as County Executive Gurmai Zahalai gave his State of the County address last night.
In the first 6 months of this administration, we have spent significant time confronting the challenges that have tested public confidence.
John Repp, KIRO News Radio.
An Arlington police officer arrested in May on allegations involving child sex abuse material has now been fired. The city of Arlington says 41-year-old Dustin Bartlett was terminated today following an internal investigation into department policy violations. Investigators say Bartlett was arrested after his girlfriend turned over evidence she discovered on computer hard drives at the couple's Camano Island home. Bartlett was later arrested for a second time for investigation of violating a domestic violence no-contact order. Criminal charges remain pending. Project Seattle Soccer Celebration has transformed the waterfront into a soccer destination featuring free public watch parties at Pier 62.
This is about community and access and the power of sport in our community in particular, shaped by our diversity, our history, our culture, and our values to bring community together.
The barge was created by the Sounders, Rain, and Rave Foundation. Before you head out to eat, you can once again check your favorite restaurant stacks up on food safety.
Just eat it, eat it.
King County's online restaurant ratings map is back up and running after being offline for nearly 7 months. Public Health says the pause happened while staff switched to a new permitting system and rebuilt the mapping tool. Each restaurant is rated with a simple emoji-based system, giving diners a quick snapshot of how they did during inspections. Now to your KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. The Valley Freeway is running about a half an hour right now from Puyallup to Renton. Coming down out of Snohomish County, it's about 45 minutes from Everett to Seattle. The Federal Way drive to Seattle is about 55 minutes. It'll take you about half an hour from Renton to Bellevue. For your forecast, it's sunny today with warmer temperatures in the mid-60s to low 70s. Right now, it's 60 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Greg Tomlin and Angela Poe Russell in on the Gee and Ursula Show. Angela, I talk with people a lot about AI. Some people say, I never think about it, doesn't affect my daily life currently, and what's going to come is going to come. Stop worrying about it. Other people are more like me and feel that the long tentacles of AI are going to infiltrate every aspect of human life. I've even heard people say, like, oh, you know who's going to be just fine throughout this revolution are the plumbers and those in social psychology and the electricians. And I say, not so fast. I mean, there will be robot plumbers in, 10 years, maybe less. I think it's coming. And how are we integrating AI into education and early childhood education? Is it crazy to think that teachers could be replaced by AI? I don't think that's a crazy notion. Now, is it an ethical good or bad? That's another discussion we can have. Well, the future is now. There's a story in GeekWire. Alpha School, an AI-driven private school chain that promises to teach kids core academics in 2 hours a day, plans to open a Seattle area location in Kirkland this fall and will run its first local weekly summer programs on Microsoft's Redmond campus starting in late June. And one of the premises here is that, look, we can teach kids with a not a one-size-fits-all approach. We can get the learning and the facts and the info done quickly, and then it'll free up more time amidst a kid's day for life skills and projects and other character-building activities after we just get the hard facts out of the way and the learning part, including, I assume, history, mathematics, science, and so on and so forth. Once again, it's a theme not only of the show today and what I've been saying, but I can see both sides to this argument a little bit, because I have a child who's in school in third grade, and the traditional system of learning, the traditional school system, in some respects doesn't suit him very well. But if there was an academic experience that was tailored to him, he could thrive in so many ways. The big thing with my son is he can't sit still. And so concepts that are taking 7 hours to teach at school, I really think he could internalize in 45 minutes and free up the rest of his day to do other things. But the problem is you've got, 20, 25 kids in a class, and you have to go at a one-size-fits-all approach. I'm just a little uncertain about having machines integrated in this way that this Alpha School does. I'm not saying it's warranted. I'm not saying I'm correct. But my default response to a lot of the integration of AI is deep skepticism, at least to start. Where do you come down on this?
I went into this conversation being against this school, and the more I reflected on it, I am now more open, which is why it's important to have a second thought, right? So many of us go off our first thoughts, and it's like, it's okay to have a second thought. And I'll take you back to my kid being in elementary school, and she was zooming through the information really fast, and she would sit in class and she would get bored. And I remember going to the principal and the teacher and saying, hey, is there any way my kid could get an extra worksheet or something so that she's not just sitting there? And they said, no, we can't do that. And I was like, so she's just going to sit there and be finished? Yeah, she just has to do that. They weren't willing to give her a worksheet. And so it makes me think that when kids come into school, there are all these different levels and places. And I've volunteered in classrooms. And if you have a kid who's struggling, the teacher has to spend their time there. with this new school, instead of teachers, they have what's called guides. And so they will use the AI to determine where your kid is at and meet them where they are. So for that, I love it, because then the kid that needs the extra support, they can get it. The kid that's like ready to move on, the AI can move them in that direction. But here's the caveat. Here's the problem with it. If these 2 hours were the only time that they're interacting with technology, and they have all these other like real world experiences and play and projects, then it sounds great. But is that going to really be the reality when these kids do go home? I don't know. That's the part that really scares me. I think there's something about just that human and having something you can touch and feel, which is why I loved Montessori. My kid, have you ever heard?
I have heard of Montessori. Yep.
My kid was in a Montessori program, and they'd be mopping and sweeping, and I mean, there's something very good about that.
Yeah, and what you said there just made me have a thought, which is there also a risk in even further fragmentation of society when it comes to our education and more isolation? Because what I've been finding in our day and age is in the algorithm-based social media landscape has helped cultivate this environment, and that is every single person in society can tailor their own life experience to themselves and themselves only. That's redundant, but you understand what I'm saying. And that is there value in being in a classroom environment where everyone is learning at a different pace? You might be learning way faster and have more knowledge here, and there might be some kid, bringing up the rear that takes a lot longer time. Is there an inherent good in having mixed company?
Ooh, you know what?
Because I'm finding this more and more is that every parent is going, well, this experience works for my oldest, this experience works for my middle, and this experience works for my youngest, if you have 3 kids in that example. And maybe there is some good in saying, it's like my kids on a baseball team. And I love rec baseball. I'm a huge proponent of rec baseball. I think select has its own positives, but a lot of downsides. What I love about rec baseball is, I got to be an assistant coach this year. On the team, we had a kid who had never played baseball before. And we had another kid on the other side of the spectrum that was accomplished and talented and gifted when it came to baseball. And you had all the kids in between. And the great part is that we were all together as a community, as a team, learning how to make sense of using each other's plus sides and downsides together to form this unit that would go out and try to win games together, not by ourselves. Can that analogy apply to the education experience?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I love that. It makes me think about church. And so often, heck, I've probably said it like, well, I can study the Bible at home. I can pray on my own. But there's a value to being in the church community where you can have the Sunday school teacher and the other people that you get to meet and do life together. I think that's a really good point. And maybe there is some kind of hybrid situation for this type school, since it is going to be opening, where maybe the tech is a guide, but the real work that's happening in community is beautiful. I love that. It's beautiful.
Greg Tallman, Angela Poe Russell, and on the Gee and Ursula Show. the Oprah Wannabe Show continues. KIRO Radio, we'll be right back after these.
KIRO News Radio, winner of 7 regional Edward R. Murrow Awards. Breaking news coverage, best newscast, excellence in writing, investigative reporting, sports reporting, hard news. Capped with a prestigious prize for overall excellence. And we thank you, our audience across the Pacific Northwest. You are the reason we strive to be the Northwest's trusted news source. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
Hey, it's G. Scott. Let's talk real for a sec. Summer is supposed to be about sunshine and kids having fun. But when the kids are home all day, that grocery bill, yeah, it grow fast. That's why I want you to know about Sunbucks and why our friends at Safeway are helping get the word out. If your family qualifies, you can receive $120 per child to spend on groceries this summer. Food in your cart and a little less pressure on that budget. And let me be clear about this. There's no catch, no judgment. This program is simply about making sure kids have enough to eat when school is out. Here's the important part. Many families are enrolled automatically, and a card may already be headed to your mailbox. But some families do need to apply depending on income and where you live. So take a couple minutes and check. Visit freesummermeals.org. That's freesummermeals.org. Safeway, looking out for your family this summer. Once again, that's freesummermeals.org.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to cars4kids.org now or call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
Meet Matthew Preston. Inside his apartment, everything he holds dear is protected by Progressive's renter's insurance, like his laptop and a surprisingly valuable collection of baseball bobbleheads. Outside his apartment, his laptop is still protected, as are his bobbleheads, which he carries around with him for reasons no one knows. Renters, the limits of protection aren't just the four walls of your home. When you're in Progressive's Protection Zone, get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Healthcare costs are rising, and a major driver is hospital prices. They've increased more than 250% over the past 25 years. Families and local businesses are feeling it. At Primera Blue Cross, we're working to change that by negotiating with hospitals to secure fair, responsible prices so you can get the care you need at a cost you can afford. That's coverage that counts. Learn more at coveragethatcounts.primera.com.
Under these arches, opposing teams are put to the test. Can they hear themselves over the boom of the 12s? Can they withstand the Seattle elements? Can they compete against us? Touchdown, Seahawks! This city lives for Sunday. Get your tickets for Seahawks game days at Lumen Field and experience what this city lives for. Visit Seahawks.com today.
Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. You deserve a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A first-ever combination of the largest, fastest fiber-powered network, the most reliable Wi-Fi, gig speeds with equipment and security included, and a 5-year price lock. Plus, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A new standard for small business with reliability, security, and savings in one. When you add it all up, no one does business like Comcast Business.
Switch today. Get started for $60 a month for 12 months when you add an advanced solution to a qualifying internet package. Limited time offer. New customers only. Requires 300 megabits per second internet, security edge, and additional qualifying service. 1-year agreement, paperless billing, and autopay with bank account required. Taxes and fees extra. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
Summer's right around the corner. Can you say World Series? I don't want to jinx anybody. And I don't want to jinx that heating system or cooling system that you have, but it could possibly out at home. So the best thing to do right now is to replace the system. You want it done right and done fast. Upgrade your cooling now with Home Comfort Alliance. Their 60-second online price estimator makes it so easy. Upgrade to a Lennox cooling system and get a new heating system free. Plus available utility rebates. Visit homecomfortalliance.com today.
Greg Tallman and Angela Poe Russell in on the Gee and Ursula Show. Now it's time for a scenario.
Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
Hey, y'all. My 15-year-old has absolutely no interest in learning how to drive. He's been eligible to start working towards his permit for more than a year, but hasn't taken a single step. I don't get it. When I turned 16, I was at the DMV on my birthday. Just like my friends, it was a rite of passage. My son feels completely differently. He's not uninterested. He's actively opposed to it. His argument is, why spend hours in driver's ed over the summer and training for all of this to do something that I don't want to do in the first place and could potentially get somebody hurt and only uses more carbon to pollute the planet. My friend suggested bribing him, but I can't think of anything he wants badly enough to outweigh his desire to not drive. And I don't want to force him. Should I just let him not learn how to drive, Angela?
First, this person should know they are not alone. This is a really common thing in this generation. I do not know why. I would say do not force and do not drive. Like, you are not to drive him anywhere. If he refuses to get a driver's license, you cannot take to practice. You cannot take to lessons. He has to find a way. I know this is easier said than done, but if he's refusing, there has to be a consequence, because what I've seen is that sometimes they don't want to drive because they're like, you'll do it. I mean, even my daughter now who drives, I have a daughter now, she drives, no problem, but she enjoys it when I drive. I mean, who doesn't?
What?
Who doesn't?
Teenager?
Historically speaking, in the year 1983, 46% of 16-year-olds had a driver's license. In the year 2023, 25%. So the anecdotes are borne out in the data. It's absolutely true. This is so apropos right now because my daughter is 15.
Oh.
And we had the opposite issue. She ran out to get signed up for driver's ed, just completed it. I've logged about 15 hours with her as a very cautious parent in the passenger seat driving around our neighborhood.
It's scary. I thought I was going to die.
Angela.
I thought I was going to die.
Oh, my goodness. But okay, here's something I learned, and this is related, but a little off topic. But what I noticed is when I was correcting her when she would do something behind the wheel, I'd go, well, you did this. Why'd you do that? And then I would think to myself, why would I assume that she knows how to do that? She's never been behind the wheel of a car before. And I think oftentimes as parents, our habit of teaching is like, you should know that. Why would you do that? And instead, it's like, wait, this is her first time ever behind a wheel. I need to, every step of the way, like instruct her calmly, generously with, get ready, there's a stoplight coming up. Now
but
we
when
go
you
to
think
a nice...
your life is ending, the rationale just goes out.
That's exactly it. But yeah, what plays into this trend of young people not wanting to get their license right away? It's because they live their lives on a screen, Angela. They don't live in the real world anymore. That's why. It's true. You disagree?
There's one reason. One main reason why I wanted to drive when I was that age, because I was like, I can't get a girlfriend if I don't have a car. Like, what am I going to do? Ask my mom to drive us to the movies? I mean, Angela, it's beautiful that your daughter wants you to drive her places.
Well, no. To be clear,
I didn't want to be around my parents at all when I was a teenager.
She drives 95% of the time. I'm just saying it's a treat for her when I drive.
Yeah. See, the thing is, and also your logic that, well, how are they going to get to the things that they want to do if I don't drive them and they don't learn? Well, what about the kids that are like, hey, Mom, I don't want the resume. I don't want the extracurricular activities. I'm fine with Minecraft. Thanks. Or whatever it is. Like, do you know the digital companionship, both acceptable and unacceptable, that's available to me in my bedroom? Why would I ever leave?
And by the way, I've had this thought as my daughter is learning to drive. We were just in Nevada recently. My brother has a Tesla. He pays the $100 a month subscription for a driverless vehicle. we took 45-minute drives where he didn't touch the wheel. And I thought, and I keep thinking as I look at my daughter behind the wheel, is this skill she's learning going to be obsolete in 10 years?
I think it will.
I mean,
would you rather let the car drive your daughter, or would you rather your daughter drive the car?
I'm terrified of driving a computer, actually. If computers can be hacked, I think we're extremely naive to think that cars can't be hacked one day. And you're like, oh, I'm in a driverless vehicle, and then someone overseas taps into your vehicle's computer and drives you off a cliff. That's for sure going to happen.
100% in our lifetime.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
Just a little terror.
Should we check in with Nick? I hope you have a better one.
I get a fear of those automatic drives too. But I mean, in this case, you got to give the kids some motivation in order to make them feel driven towards getting their license and the ability to cruise on their own. No pun intended. And it's not going to work by continuing to give them the free passes and rides to wherever they want to roam. So if you take away the passenger seat and give them the need to find their own way from point A to point B, then I think there's a good chance they'll give up the notion of being no way on the highway. Adding salt to the wound if you want. Tell them the life they'll live without friends or social gatherings if they decide to choose the former over the latter of the license. Maybe that's not what they want now, but I think it's going to be pretty sure they'll change their mind later. I'm just guessing, you know.
Life is a highway.
I want to ride it all night long.
Not bad.
Greg Tomlin and Angela Poe Russell in on the Gee and Ursula Show. Lots more coming up on a busy, busy Thursday. Stick around. We'll be right back.
KIRO News Radio, winner of 7 regional Edward R. Murrow Awards, including overall excellence and investigative reporting.
Just 29 hours later, Joshua Headley sent an unsolicited email to me writing, I understand there may be a news story coming out.
Thank you who listen, stream, and watch every day. The driving force that pushes us to be the Northwest trusted news source. KIRO News Radio. 97.3 FM.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for fast, friendly service with guaranteed repairs. With 16 family-owned locations and a Carfax preferred badge, Bucky's makes it easy with same-day service and available financing. Visit Bucky's.com.
KIRO News Radio.
Get on the YouTube channel.
We're live all day on YouTube. Every show, every day.
Hang out with us. The whole gang's there.
And you never know what you might see.
Back up the camera. Oh, my God.
Just search KIRO News Radio, then subscribe.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores.
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Giving your liver a spring cleaning is easy with Active Liver. From New Nordic, search for Active Liver by New Nordic on Amazon, CVS, Wegmans, or GNC.
Join in on the conversation by sending a text to 888-973-5476. That's 888-973-KIRO.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better, live stronger. Start now.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain, sinus headaches? You've gone to the doctor. You visit urgent care over and over again. And it's always the same thing, right? Oh, I know. Let's try antibiotics and some nasal sprays. But they just keep coming back. You may suffer with chronic sinus infections. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure called the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic. Imagine a procedure so delicate there are no narcotics. Less cutting means less bleeding, so no packing, and no operating room. The Sinusoft procedure is designed for the clinic. If you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, and congestion, find out if the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic, is the solution for you. Call and set an appointment today. 206-388-2770. 206-388-2770. That's 206-388-2770.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Pentagon officials say sections of the high-security building are in lockdown after systems triggered an air quality incident. ABC's Louis Martinez says some workers sheltering in place until tests by hazmat crews are concluded.
This is a very large building. 23,000 people work there on any given day. And the Pentagon has 5 sides, 5 floors, 5 concentric rings, and when you could be working in one of those wedge areas, one of those corners of the building, and be completely unaffected by something that's going on in another part of the building.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced the U.S. will sanction Cuba's state-owned gas and oil company, alleging Cuba's government was using it as a tool of repression and self-serving the regime. In Mexico, protests ahead of the World Cup's first match in Mexico City tonight. Demonstrators using the high-profile event to bring light to various causes, including missing individuals. This is ABC News. In Texas, near the Mexican border, a driver of an 18-wheeler involved in a pursuit near the border is in custody and facing charges of human trafficking. That incident ending in a dramatic rescue.
At the checkpoint near Falfurrias, Texas, Border Patrol agents ordered a secondary inspection of a tractor-trailer rig after a canine indicated something suspicious, but the driver sped away. Officers deployed spikes, flattening the truck's tires, but it kept going and, running on its rims, caught fire before stopping.
Hey, let's get some fire extinguishers!
Body-worn cameras captured state troopers' desperate attempts to open the trailer.
Get him out, get him out, get him out!
39 people thought to be undocumented immigrants were rescued from the burning trailer while the driver was arrested. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Severe storms once again targeting parts of the South and the Midwest, with the threat of heavy winds along with possible tornadoes the concern. It will be the second time this week that many of those areas are being targeted. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Today, Seattle leaders will talk about the violence and human trafficking on Aurora Avenue. But first, KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. This traffic report is brought to you by Lake Washington Windows and Doors. The Valley Freeway is running about 33 minutes right now from the Puyallup area to Renton. It'll take you about 30 minutes out of Renton up to Bellevue. Federal Way to Seattle is about 45 minutes right now. And in Snohomish County, it's about 45 from Everett to Seattle. Right now, Lake Washington Windows and Doors is giving the first 40 June signups with 5 or more windows a free patio door plus 12 months free financing. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. For months, Aurora Avenue neighbors have been asking for city leaders to do something about the gun violence in their community. Today, the city has a response. KIRO News Radio's John Rep reports.
Today's press conference includes Seattle City Council members and Mayor Katie Wilson, along with the police chief. Earlier this week, Keith Carpenter, pastor of Epic Life Church in North Seattle, called out city leaders specifically.
Council member District 5, please show up. Mayor, please show up. People are being shot at. Houses are being shot at. There's bullets coming through walls where infants are sleeping.
Council members have recently called for closure of several streets as well as a longer-term strategy. John Rep, KIRO News Radio.
Auditors say they have major problems with the plan from King County's Regional Homelessness Authority to fix a $44 million deficit and $13 million in untracked spending. Publicola reports that auditors called out 7 red flags, noting the agency continues to ignore their clear problem areas. King County Executive Gurmai Zilahai pledged stronger accountability in last night's State of the County address.
The bottom line is that we have to do better, and we will hold people accountable for any act of fraud or abuse.
The agency says several issues flagged by auditors are already being addressed. An Arlington police officer accused of possessing child pornography has been fired by the city. Dustin Bartlett, a nearly 8-year veteran of the department, was terminated after an internal investigation. Bartlett was arrested last month after Island County investigators served a search warrant at his Camino Island home. The investigation began when his girlfriend reported finding suspected images on his computer. Bartlett was placed on administrative leave following the arrest and later arrested again for allegedly violating a domestic violence no-contact order. Support is pouring in for a Ballard couple after a fire destroyed their home and the commercial kitchen that powers their small food business. KIRO 7 TV's Jack Bilyeu reports.
Sarah and Sam Lucchese are well known at the local farmers markets where they make a living selling pizza, pasta, and baked goods.
Everyone knows them around here.
They were supposed to be at the market in Seattle's Wallingford neighborhood Wednesday night, but tragedy struck.
I woke up this morning and the first text that I saw was from Sam, 6 o'clock, saying, I can't be at the market today because my house burned down.
Seattle Fire says the fire was caused by a container of hot embers, which spread to a wood pile, then to the house. It caused an estimated $500,000 worth of damage.
The first whistle of the FIFA World Cup sounds today, and fans across Western Washington are ready to celebrate. Watch parties are planned throughout the region. KIRO 7 TV's Ranji Sinha is at the Port of Everett's Boxcar Park.
The city of Everett is working with regional partners for transportation here. There is a free shuttle provided by Everett Transit with stops at Everett Station, downtown Everett, as well as here at Boxcar Park. And each game kicks off 2 hours after the fan zone opens here in Everett, and it will be open for 2 hours after the matches are over so people can celebrate.
For your KIRO News Radio weather, it's sunny today with warmer temperatures in the mid-60s to low 70s. Right now, it's about 61 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Welcome to the Gee and Ursula Show. We are so glad that you're with us. I'm Angela Poe Russell filling in along with the Greg Tomlin, who I'm now nicknaming him Oprah because he always has such sage advice.
The Oprah effect.
Yeah, you have really great advice, and I've enjoyed hearing it throughout the show. And as always, here holding it down, Chef and Nick. Good morning to you, Nick. How are you doing today?
Doing well, yeah. It's nice and sunny. We're up ahead on some real serious heat, though. We'll see if we can bear through that.
Awesome. All right, well, let's get to what's new at 11 o'clock.
Top stories at 11.
On the Gee and Ursula Show.
For years, we have heard the American middle class is disappearing, that ordinary families are falling behind while only the rich get richer. But 2 economists writing in the New York Times argued that's not actually what's happening. Their analysis found the traditional middle class has shrunk since 1979, but mostly because more families have moved into the upper middle class. For example, back then, 36% of families were considered middle class, but by 2024, the number had gone down to 31%. That sounds bad, except families in the upper middle class grew from 10% to 31% over the same period. Meanwhile, the share of families below the middle class dropped from more than half of all families. The authors argue that many people are confusing 2 different issues: inequality and living standards. They say both can be true at the same time. Wealthy Americans have gained far more than everyone else, and inequality has increased dramatically. But they argue that most Americans are still better off financially than previous generations were. The piece also tackles a question many people ask. If we're doing better, why doesn't it feel that way? I'll get to you answering that in a moment, Greg, but the authors point to rising expectations and rising costs for things people increasingly want, such as homes in desirable neighborhoods, access to top schools, as incomes have grown, demand for those limited resources has grown too. Greg, what is your takeaway? That was a lot that I shared. What are you latching on to in your mind?
I'm latching on to the Tocqueville effect. Do you know who
Explain.
Alexis de Tocqueville was? So he was a philosopher and former minister for Europe and foreign affairs of France in the 19th century. And in the mid-1800s, he came over to study the American way of life. He studied our politics, our religion, landscapes, the people, communities. And basically, he wrote a book called Of Democracy in America. And he put forth this theory that I think is so relevant and so spot on, not just in the mid-1800s, but for us today in 2026, and is directly relevant. So it's called the Tocqueville effect. It's the phenomenon where social frustration and discontent grow faster than the actual social improvements. So as living standards, rights, and equality expand, people's expectations rise even higher, making them fiercely critical of remaining inequalities. And basically, so if you look at this in terms of interpreting how America is today, if we shun inequality here as a society, even the smallest appearance of inequality will get our spidey senses tingling into an outrage because we have such a desire for equality everywhere. And so sometimes this skews our perception of reality. And I brought this clip up earlier of Warren Buffett, who spoke in a recent interview about this concept of living standards, because we hear a lot of talk about the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer, and just look at how much Jeff Bezos makes compared to the middle class. And it's almost framed in a zero-sum game type way. If someone's getting richer, it must mean someone else is getting poor simultaneously, when maybe it is that the actual reality is a rising tide lifts all boats. So here's what Warren Buffett said about this. Well, I want to hear your pushback in a moment.
Let me hear you out.
It's a minute-long clip, but it's worth hearing. And yes, it comes from a billionaire. But Warren Buffett is a guy that, he does not live a licentious, profligate lifestyle.
Buys a trailer home parks and increase the rent by tenfold.
Just listen to this, and then I will hear the pushback momentarily.
2% in terms of income in the United States, the bottom 5%, and for sure the top 1%, all live better than John D. Rockefeller was living when I was 6 years old. John D. Rockefeller was the richest man in the world. And today, you can get better medicine, better education, better entertainment, better transportation. You can do everything better than he could. You can, it's astounding. That's in my lifetime. That if you wanted to watch a football game, he still had to go there. and I can sit there with this big screen, and they keep showing me the replay, so that and explaining to me what happened and everything. And maybe everybody doesn't have a screen as big as mine, but damn near everybody has a screen or an iPhone or a computer or access to one, and they have access. When I was born, the dentist didn't use Novocaine.
Okay, I could see Chef and Angela both rolling your eyes a little bit, just chomping at the bit, waiting to get in on this. So how do you respond to the Warren Buffetts of the world that say, yes, standard of living really has increased dramatically, even in the last 50 years, for all people in the U.S., whether it's the bottom 2% of earners or the highest 2% of earners?
I'm actually going to pass the baton to Chef.
Chef looks
because
more
I
fired
think
up.
Chef is the most vexed right now.
Are you bleeping kidding me?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, inarguably, the standard of living has risen. You're right. That happens with technology. It happens naturally through the growth of wealth in the nation. Things change. But who gets what in our society has inarguably shifted dramatically. And I think we actually radically underestimate exactly how much has been stolen from us. Just think about it.
Do tell.
Within my lifetime, someone coming right out of college, could buy a home, could afford the family vacations, could afford their health care, could afford to send their kids to college on one income. One income. Now 2 people working more than full-time cannot afford to do half of that. Productivity has skyrocketed. Standard of living has risen, but productivity has far outpaced standard of living. And when it takes 2 people working full-time, so I can't see my damn kids, and I am running, literally, I sprint through my day from 5 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. I sprint through my day because I cannot ever catch up. And it takes 2 people going at that pace to barely make ends meet, not be able to save, and not own anything. And to say that, gosh, the American middle class is growing because dentists now today have this thing where they can make your gums numb. And that, I should be grateful for the fact that I have a TV. Are you not entertained? Kid, just stop.
Okay, I read this whole article, and here's the one thing that I think will be the mic drop on all of it.
Okay.
On all of it. So back in that 1989, the top 3% had 26% of our country's wealth. 26%. Today, double. The top 3% now own 53% of our country's wealth. So while everyone is doing better, the gulf has widened. They have gobbled up more. And we talk about wealth. That is the assets that you have, right? You look at the homes, you look at what's in your investment accounts. And so to your point, there may be more, but we aren't owning it. So double in, I don't know, let me do the math. Since 1989, they've doubled their wealth.
Share of the pot.
Their share of the pot.
Here's the thing, though.
But I agree the expectations rise, but we can't deny the gulf has gotten wider between the top 3% and everybody else.
Yes, but it's also not in return for nothing. I mean, I have a love-hate relationship with the Jeff Bezoses of the world because I use the service he helped originate and create on a weekly basis. And so thank God for our system of capitalism, which is the best, worst economic system we have going in the world today, because it diagnoses human nature for what it is and allows people to make profit when they provide a product or service that other people want. We want what Jeff Bezos is selling in mass. By the tune of millions of people. We've all said, hey, we like this service so much, we are going to reward you handsomely. And thank God that's not generated by some government program. It's generated by private enterprise. And so I think, again, this notion of, well, they're getting richer and we're getting poor, I think you can quantify and say in a lot of ways, not every way, and not every person and not every billionaire, that a lot of what they have produced has helped benefit the masses in return for them getting uber rich.
Okay, can I talk?
Is that a controversial opinion?
Absolutely. So let's take, for example,
you'd rather a world with no Amazon right now?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
I love that Amazon is doing great. I actually appreciate some of Amazon's programs, so no issue with that. So here's the question.
Yes.
If you have a company making billions of dollars and their employees who work full-time have to get federal assistance because they don't make enough, should the companies be punished? That is my point. So you look at I think the case study was Walmart. They make all this money and their employees work there full-time and are having to get federal assistance. So we're subsidizing Walmart not paying their employees in alignment with what they make. That's how companies get richer, is you underpay people and then we have to then subsidize it. Chef, fact check me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that, one of the reasons Amazon got so popular is they had a 15-year head start in which they did not have to have their customers pay sales tax anywhere in the United States. Because Congress was like, oh, things sold online, they're not actually sold. So we shouldn't collect sales tax on them. So Amazon can immediately have a price advantage in whatever market they have across the United States.
Well, that's called being smart, Chef.
No.
No, I'm
That's the free hand of the free market.
Okay, so are you advocating
Favoring
for
one giant company
more,
with regulatory advantage?
Are you ever advocating for more government involvement with economics or less?
I think when
Greg, I'm not advocating for any government policy here. I'm simply stating the truth. Like the billionaires, that's a distraction, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are a finite number of billionaires, but the fact that we all benefit when the stocks go up, the stocks. No, 90% of the stock market is owned by 10% of Americans.
Yeah, that's true.
Half of Americans don't own stocks. The idea that wealth is being distributed equitably and I should be happy because I have instantaneous purchases available at my fingertips and this magic screen in the box that can feed me the things.
It's magic.
Does not change the fact that I have been stolen from. That I have a lower I have a lower life expectancy than my parents. This is the first generation in American history that faces worse financial and health outcomes than their parents.
But generally, life expectancy has gone up over the last 100 years.
Until now.
Let me ask what I think will be a revealing question and answer from both of you.
Greg, first of all, I love you, by the way.
I love you too.
I need to just so the audience knows.
I love this stuff. I think robust disagreement is the name of the game. So I don't take any of this personally, and I welcome the debate, and I welcome both of you trying to persuade me otherwise. My question to both of you is, would either of you, in your current positions in life right now, economically speaking strictly, would you want to trade places with someone born in 1930? Because you're speaking very explicitly about how things have been stolen from you, things are worse, things used to be better, you used to be able to afford a house, so on and so forth. Would either of you go, yeah, I would take that bargain, actually. I would trade places because then I could own a home, which the average size of was 900 square feet.
Sure, great. Starter homes, love them.
Chef might trade, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade either. Not in a million years.
Listen,
are you kidding me?
Greg, what you're actually asking is, would I trade, quote, life today versus life in the 30s? That's not what the middle class is about. The middle class is about what you can afford to buy with the paycheck that you get. And would I trade the economy of 1950 for today? You're damn straight I would.
Oh, I don't know. For $500, I can have the entire world on a screen in my pocket. All the information and wisdom that has ever been generated.
You have argued on the show just within the past couple hours that has brought us more dissatisfaction than virtually anything else.
Well, I agree with that. But what I'm saying is just the capabilities, the potential,
magic toys,
luxuries,
magic toys don't replace time.
Magic toys?
No. And financial freedom and security.
How about opportunities that the phone has unleashed? I mean, if you wield it properly,
you're not seriously making the
opportunities are endless.
I feel like, though, it's a distraction from the main issue.
All right, get us back to home base here, Angela.
Which is about the question. We were talking about the top 3% owning a larger share of our country's wealth than ever before, at least since the late 1980s. And I was making the point that if a company is making billions of dollars and they are paying people so little that those people are relying on the federal government, shouldn't those companies be fined? Because that seems to me how this wealth gap is being created by them keeping more of the profits and not paying the people.
And I will, both of you are going to roll your eyes at this one too, but this is where my free market private enterprise instincts come into play here. And I say no one is conscripted into working for an Amazon or a Walmart. And the more you get government involved in this realm, the more you are going to accelerate the push towards those machine robots in your factories, in your warehouses, in your delivery trucks, so on and so forth. And so I kind of lean more towards letting the market work.
Are you aware that there are economic theories that have been advanced in the 500 years since Adam Smith?
Wait, Adam who?
So are you
500 years?
So should the federal government not provide food stamps to those employees who aren't making enough to be able to afford food and housing and school and like all those things? I mean, should the federal government not provide assistance? So I get what your point, that companies, they can pay what they want, but but to me, where it becomes our business is when they aren't making enough so that then we are, as taxpayers, having to basically pay for the company not paying their people. Like you know what I'm saying?
I get your point. Yep.
Yeah, but I love the debate. This has been so entertaining for me.
For the debate, everybody.
I actually feel a lot better.
This is the first point of real kind of disagreement we've had on the show today, and I for one,
I'm here for it.
Loved it.
God bless America.
What do you think? Text us in. 888. What's the rest of the number, Angela?
973-5476.
Greg Tomlin and Angela Poe Russell in on the Gee and Ursula Show. Stick around. We'll be right back.
This hour is brought to you by DUI Heroes. KIRO News Radio, winner of 7 regional Edward R. Murrow Awards. Breaking news coverage, best newscast, excellence in writing, investigative reporting, sports reporting, hard news. Capped with a prestigious prize for overall excellence. And we thank you, our audience across the Pacific Northwest. You are the reason we strive to be the Northwest's trusted news source. KIRO News Radio. 97.3 FM.
A rising blast, left field, grand slam, Rosarena!
At T-Mobile Park, you've always got the best seat in the house. But for a truly elevated experience, you've got to be in a Mariner Suite. A suite is the perfect spot to get your game and celebration on. Birthday, promotion, engagement, company team building that actually team builds. No matter your event, we've got a suite you'll love. Group suites can fit 30 to 400 people for big-time bashes. And private suites offer just that, an upscale experience for more intimate gatherings. All Mariner Suites offer an incredible view of the ballpark, so you can't go wrong. Plus, you and your guests will enjoy premium catering, VIP parking, private Skybridge entry, and more. And season ticket members get 15% off. Reserve your suite today at mariners.com/suites.
Bases clearing, 3-run double by Josh Naylor. Holy smokes, the Mariners have the lead.
Mariners baseball, Trident's up.
It started as a puddle.
Where?
In the shower.
Uh-oh.
Then the kitchen sink.
Started backing up?
Yeah.
I know where this is going.
Clogged up.
Right. No problem.
Beg your pardon?
There's no clog we can't clear.
You're Dan.
From Apollo Plumbing.
This is going to get pricey.
How about $83?
To clear my drain?
Apollo Plumbing clears main drains every day.
For $83?
83 or it's free.
What's the catch?
No catch. We'll even do a camera inspection.
Why's that?
It's the best way to find the cause of your clog.
And it's included?
No extra charge. Truth is, we hate clogs.
I don't love them.
Seen them all.
Ew.
I promise, there's no clog Apollo can't clear.
Guaranteed.
83 or free.
Goodbye, slow drains.
All it takes is an accessible clean out.
And Apollo gets my drains draining again.
You call, we come, it's fixed.
My heroes.
Just doing our job.
Thank you, Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Your medication for enlarged prostate is working. That's what you tell yourself. You're up 3 times a night instead of 5. The urgency is manageable. The stream's not great, but it's fine. That's the problem. Fine. Enlarged prostate, or BPH, doesn't pause because the medication takes the edge off. The prostate keeps growing. The bladder keeps working harder. And over time, those changes can be harder to reverse. But surgery? Not for you, right? Aquablation is not the surgery you're picturing. It's the only ultrasound-guided, robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Don't wait until things become unbearable. Find an Aquablation urologist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466. 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
You've got to try the new TikTok diet.
Just ask chat.
I just take blue-green algae.
You just have to eat kale. Kale, kale, kale.
I read you should put butter in your coffee.
Or you could trust your gut.
When it comes to your energy, digestion, and overall health, how do you know what's actually right for you? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to show what's going on inside you right now. Not trends, not guesses, your biology. With your results, Viome gives you clear, personalized, actionable guidance. Which foods help you, which ones don't, and which supplements your body actually can benefit from. All based on the world's largest gut health databases and thousands of clinical research studies. Many people who use Viome report better digestion, more energy, and an improved mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing.
And maybe still eat the kale?
Maybe. Learn more at viome.com/know. V as in Victor, IOME.com/KNOW. And use coupon code VIOME50 to save $50 off your purchase.
And eat everything blue.
No, thank you.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for fast, friendly service with guaranteed repairs. With 16 family-owned locations and a Carfax preferred badge, Bucky's makes it easy with same-day service and available financing. Visit buckys.com.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
Your windows and doors play a huge role in your home's efficiency and comfort. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors for windows that are up to 25% more energy efficient than Energy Star standards and reduce noise by up to 50%. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com today.
G. Scott here. Safeway wants you to know SunBucks gives qualifying families $120 per child for summer groceries. Some families are signed up automatically. Others need to apply. Find out if you should apply at freesummermeals.org.
Insulation rebates from PSE are at historic highs. American Crawl Space and Pest Services gave over $3 million in PSE insulation rebates last year. More than any contractor in Washington. Homeowners, business owners, and PSE trust American Crawl Space and Pest Services. Was your home built before 1990? Visit AmericanCrawl.com to see how much you can save on replacing your insulation.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. Parts of the Pentagon remain on partial lockdown as officials investigate a possible air quality issue. A Pentagon spokesperson says these measures are precautionary and they expect to lift this order once testing is complete. ABC's Luis Martinez has more.
This is a very large building. 23,000 people work there on any given day. And the Pentagon has 5 sides, 5 floors, 5 concentric rings. And when you could be working in one of those wedge areas, one of those corners of the building, and be completely unaffected by something that's going on in another part of the building.
A new ranking shows Seattle is losing ground among top U.S. cities for international business. The Financial Times list, which measures how attractive cities are to foreign investors, dropped Seattle from second place last year to 13th this year. Cities in Texas and other parts of the South made strong gains, while Boston claimed the number 1 spot overall. A 13-year-old boy pleads not guilty in the shooting death of his teenage cousin in Seattle's Rainier Valley. A judge ordered the boy to remain in secure detention.
As I sit here right now, I have no belief that electronic home monitoring would be sufficient.
King County prosecutors say a handgun went off as a boy was holding it inside an apartment late last month. His 17-year-old cousin was hit in the head and died 2 days later. The 13-year-old faces charges of first-degree manslaughter and unlawful possession of a firearm. New details have been released in last week's deputy-involved shooting near Yelm. It started with a vehicle that was on fire at a property. When they got there, Thurston County Sheriff's deputies say a man charged them and pulled a gun.
Come here now.
Now, go to now.
The 68-year-old was released from the hospital Tuesday and booked into the Thurston County Jail for first-degree assault. The investigation remains ongoing. Will World Cup fans cause a new beast quake at the Lumen Field? Seismologists have sensors in place to find out. KIRO News Radio's John Repp has the story.
7 different sensors are set up from the tunnel to the very top of the Hawk's Nest, all designed to measure the seismic activity from fans who will move heaven and literally earth to cheer their team on.
Everything comes together, the geology, the architecture and kind of engineering of the stadium itself, and the way the fans actually shake the place.
He is going to go! Touchdown, Seahawks!
Pacific Northwest Seismic Network Director Harold Tobin says the original beast quake from the Seahawks' Marshawn Lynch set the bar, but fan-fueled quakes also happen during playoff runs with the Seahawks and Mariners. Tobin says it's a reminder that we do live in earthquake country and of the real-time monitoring they do all the time. John Repp, KIRO News Radio.
For your KIRO News Radio real-time traffic, this traffic report is brought to you by Seattle Sports. The Valley Freeway is running about 30 minutes from the Puyallup area to Renton. There's a few brake lights right now on northbound 405. It'll take you about 25 minutes out of Renton up to Bellevue. In Snohomish County, it's about 55 minutes right now from Everett to Seattle. Download the Seattle Sports app to stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams. For your forecast, sunshine today and warmer temperatures from the mid-60s to low 70s. Right now, it's 61 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Greg Tallman and Angela Poe Russell in on the Gee and Ursula Show. It's time for Agree to Disagree.
One of these days, we just got to take off the gloves. Just really go at it.
I'd agree to disagree. Is brought to you by Guardian Roofing and Gutter. If you see something, say something. That is the advice the Port of Seattle Commissioner Sam Cho shared with us on the show yesterday. He brought up the issue of human trafficking that occurs at airports every day across the country. He said his agents are trained on how to spot it. But you, as passengers, if you're traveling, you should also be aware of the signs to look for, too. And he says, you don't want to confront traffickers yourself, but you should be aware of what that potentially looks like. And he talked about young travelers with an older handler, typically a older man with a younger woman, who do not appear to be in a familial relationship. He said the young person obviously will often appear to be very shy or not be able to speak. The older person will be doing most of the talking. Sometimes the younger person will appear to be fearful or evasive. And he says, hey, if you see a potential trafficking situation, please alert an authority about that. Now, Angela, I'm going to ask you, because this brought up a couple of questions for me. And what do you think about the public maintaining an eye for this and reporting suspected individuals?
I think it's critical. I mean, this is happening right under our noses. We know it's happening, and we aren't spotting the signs. I would all day rather call authorities and be wrong than miss someone who is being trafficked, and especially a young, honestly, any person who's being held against their will. So I'll take that chance all day. I think at the end of the day, it's so important for us to remember that we have intuition and instincts. And when you're someplace and you see something how often has this happened where you feel like something's off, like something's not right about something that you see, but then we say, oh, well, I don't want to falsely accuse someone, or I don't want to be whatever. And it's like, I'm sorry. I think we have to trust that thing in us that just says, For me, it's always
It's
very small, right? It's like, this sounds interesting.
Potential point of disagreement, Angela, and that is there's two competing philosophies here. One is see something, say something. The other, pardon the phrase, is don't ask, don't tell. Because it would appear to me, I know, I got you on that one, Chef. Hey, come on, they apply.
We'll let it ride.
They apply. Okay, thank you. There's a lot of subjective interpretation in the presumption of see something, say something here. And for lack of a better term, what Cho is advocating for here is a degree of profiling. Am I wrong? And that is when you're seeing something, you're making a lot of assumptions in order to say something to authorities. So just gameplay this scenario for me. If you see a situation where you go, something seems off, first of all, I think intuition is important. And on a personal basis, I do sort of act on that way. Sometimes in society, when you don't have individual facts about a given case, you have to make generalizations. That's just a normal human response, and it should be acceptable in some circumstances. But okay, say you report, hey, there's this South Korean woman here, and it's with an older white male. I'm going to tell these authorities, and then the authorities stop them, and they're like, actually, we're married and we've been married a long time. How dare you come up and ask us if this is an example of human trafficking? I feel like I'm being profiled as a minority, and this feeds into the narrative of law enforcement always suspecting a person of color or a minority is up to something wrong. Do you see how that could go wrong really quickly?
I can see that, but I can tell you this. I welcome it. I actually get mad because my legal last name is now a little different than my children's names. They're older now, but I would get mad when they wouldn't double check me or ask a question. So for me, if someone were to approach me and say, hey, can you please confirm this is your child? I would say thank you, because I would rather that happen than for children, hundreds, thousands around the world, to be shipped around and sold to people. I just welcome it. I think we have to hold the line and take the risk when it comes to saving our young people. And I'll stand on that and take that risk all day, every day.
Gosh. This is like, I feel like I'm in an alternate universe.
Okay, let's hear it.
Because, Greg, I agree with you. For one, and Angela, I kind of can't believe I'm on the opposite side of this room. Like, I listened to this advice and I thought, this is crazy. You're going to have people in situations where, if you've ever been a guy who's gone to a park with his kids and been around the playground, and you don't have your kids visibly near you, you get weird looks just for that, right? Like, why is there a dude seemingly without children here? And I'm a normal-looking guy. Like, I'm non-threatening. I'm like 5'5". I'm a pretty normal-looking dude.
I'm just kidding.
I cannot fathom being in a situation where you have a younger female traveler with an older male, someone accompanying her, especially with all of the mixed-race children that we have in this country today. Like, this happens all the time. I'll share like a family experience with you.
Okay.
So
just leave me time. Just leave me time, because
please. Like, there's a family member who had some issues when she was a child, and she would have temper tantrums at the grocery store, and her mom would have to take her out of the grocery store, and she would be screaming, "This isn't my mom. This isn't my mom." And like, the police would get called on this person in my family. And it is one of the most mortifying and horrifying things.
Kids will do that to you.
To have people suspect you of like abusing someone or trafficking.
But is that worse than someone actually being abused and us being able to stop it?
It's like the collateral damage.
Yeah, yes, it's horrible to be accused. But all I can tell you is there are real life examples. Real life, you can find them. Delta actually has a whole campaign about it, about how they've been able to stop it because they recognize the signs. And all I can tell you is when you know it, when you see it, you'll know it. Like, when you see that something's off, I would
say that there's a not insignificant portion of, I'm going to say women especially, who have an overactive sense of danger and suspicion when it comes to situations that might feel a little bit off.
That could be fair.
Perhaps that keeps them safe. But it also can be a false flag.
But what's wrong with just verifying it? If you're in an airport, like, just let's verify. We're trying to protect kids. And we all should be okay with saying, you know what, for the sake of stopping this rampant problem, I'm happy to show you my ID.
And let me just wrap this up by saying it's high time we acknowledge that the Pacific Northwest here is a major hub for human trafficking, whether it's Aurora Avenue or an OnlyFans house in Bellevue or what we're seeing come through SeaTac Airport. It's something we need to come to grips with here, and we need to get better at fixing ASAP. Because it's taken quite a toll in this region. It's Greg Tomlin, Angela Poe Russell in on the Gee and Ursula Show. Stick around. We'll be right back.
KIRO News Radio, winner of 7 regional Edward R. Murrow Awards, including overall excellence and investigative reporting.
Just 29 hours later, Joshua Headley sent an unsolicited email to me writing, "I understand there may be a news story coming out."
Thank you who listen, stream, and watch every day. The driving force that pushes us to be the Northwest trusted news source. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? During the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, now through June 15th, new customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi, just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, add one line of Xfinity Mobile Select and you can save an average of $60 a month over Verizon and AT&T. You can even try it free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Savings based on 1 gig internet and 1 mobile select line compared to similar Verizon and AT&T plans over 5 years. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable.
Summer's right around the corner. Can you say World Series? I don't want to jinx anybody, and I don't want to jinx the heating system or cooling system that you have, but it could possibly out at home. So the best thing to do right now is to replace the system. You want it done right and done fast. Upgrade your cooling now with Home Comfort Alliance. Their 60-second online price estimator makes it so easy. Upgrade to a Lennox cooling system and get a new heating system free. Plus available utility rebates. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com today.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy. Pretty much hands off, They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief. The best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Step inside and let the excitement take you places. This is Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the ultimate spot for action that reaches incredible heights, luxury that knows no bounds, and live entertainment that always thrills. It's all at one incredible destination. So when you look for the best, look nowhere else. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the biggest and best in the Northwest.
Healthcare costs are rising, and a major driver is hospital prices. They've increased more than 250% over the past 25 years. Families and local businesses are feeling it. At Primera Blue Cross, we're working to change that by negotiating with hospitals to secure fair, responsible prices so you can get the care you need at a cost you can afford. That's coverage that counts. Learn more at coveragethatcounts.primera.com.
Olympic Hot Tub has terrific ways to achieve total wellness at home. Saltwater hot tubs, swim spas, saunas, and cold plunges, all waiting for you. See our current specials with exciting savings at OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it today at Cars4Kids.org. Your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call 1-877-CARS4KIDS to donate your car today. That's Cars with a K.
Guys, it's Men's Health Month at Revive Seattle. Get a free comprehensive wellness panel. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, heart health, and more. Valued at $400. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
At Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation, we know that keeping your home watertight and dry is essential to your family's safety and comfort. Having well-functioning gutters prevents water damage to your home and prolongs the life of your roof. Whether you need a cleaning or a complete gutter install, we do it all. Call today and get $250 off a gutter installation and visit us at guardianroofing.com.
Greg Tomlin and Angela Poe Russell in on the Gee and Ursula Show. It's time to hear from you. And let's go to your texts.
Yep.
Busy day on the text line. Man, one topic after another, lighten things up like the 4th of July here on our interview with Dr. Stephen Kahn, director of the UW Diabetes Center, who warns medical research is under grave political threat. The 253 says, sounds like someone has an issue with someone finally questioning where the money is going and why. It's called accountability, and it's what we voted for.
Yeah, and I want to make sure we give the facts. Dr. Kahn actually runs I don't want to make sure I get the name of the place right, but the University of Washington's Diabetes Research Center. So this isn't like some one program. This is like a huge center that employs a lot of people. 206 says, my entire career has been paid via research grants. It's been political and subjective from the beginning of time, has nothing to do with Trump. Nothing he mentioned is new. There's always been very strict rules on the use of grant money. Trump isn't coming in and making research more difficult. Friends of friends have been funding each other's grant proposals from the beginning of time. Trump isn't making it political. It already has been. I've been paid by grants that were probably never actually read by a peer. And so I'm sure I'm not in that world, but I have to imagine that's their experience, that it's been subjective. And I would add that the policies Dr. Kahn was talking about are new policies being proposed by the administration. So that part is new, that these are new proposals.
And that, go ahead, Greg.
Oh, I was just going to say, maybe you call me a Pollyanna here, but part of me just thinks, look, we have elected representatives. We've elected the head of the executive branch. They're taking that and their philosophy in one direction during his term. Do I think that in a lot of ways the Trump administration is proposing taking a machete to the NIH instead of a scalpel? Yeah, I think that's a fair and accurate critique. I would be more advocating for the scalpel sides of things. But I'm also like, hey, if you don't like it, there's another election a year or two away. I don't think he will do irrevocable.
Unless they remove voting rights and then people aren't really.
Well, yes, I know. There's that too. Go ahead, Chef.
The idea that funding for medical research has always been political. Sure, within your institution or university or within the NIH, I'm sure there's politics. There's also been nepotism. But the idea that a federally appointed political bureaucrat of either party should be in charge of calling the shots on every single grant that comes through and passing it through their political filter, I'm sorry, that's bogus. Yeah. I'm sorry. What if I decide, because I live in a city and I have different politics than people in rural communities, that I don't want to, you know what, nothing about the screwworm. I don't want to touch the screwworm because that's only going to impact, people who depend on livestock for their living. What if I decide that I don't want to study the impacts of an institution that has God. No research for colleges that use the word God, because their university is clearly about God, and I don't believe in God.
I will say this, Chef. I think one point we could all agree on is that no one wants to touch a screwworm. On the next topic, almost all tourism numbers are down for the World Cup in Seattle. Jesus writes in, the fact that soccer isn't popular with Americans doesn't matter. Soccer fans travel. They just won't come here, Angela.
Gosh. Okay, are we out of time or time for one more?
Uno más.
Okay, one more. Okay, I want to go back to the other topic because Maya on Whidbey, she said her niece has been a cancer researcher for 20 years. She says the U.S. is experiencing serious brain drain. Researchers are taking their work to other countries, Europe, Canada, China, where the countries are happy to fund their work. She says we won't recover for a generation and have already lost our standing as number one in medical research. Shocking and so sad.
Angela, it's been a pleasure filling in with you on the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy World Cup kickoff day. If you're looking to celebrate the festivities, check out Asa Gathering tonight on Mercer Island. My band, Between Two Gregs, is going to be playing an acoustic set from 8 to 10. They're also going to have a private barrel release of a new tequila there. Music and tacos. What more could you ask for, Angela?
Yes.
Shameless plug.
Except for words to live by. So from Oprah Winfrey, since we've talked about Oprah, be thankful for what you have. You'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough. There you go. Nick.
Well, we found out that rich people might not be so happy here, even knowing that they have more money than some other peers. And although they might be able to buy goodies for a smile, it's rewards that you can't buy which make your joy last for a while. The best things in life are free. But don't tell that to the FIFA fans who have seats for the games, even if they're in the nosebleeds. It's fulfilling goals, they claim. Food for thought, though. If you just watch at home like me, you'll get a better view and probably save yourself a few Benjamins in the long run, too.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Nick. And I tell you, so 8 o'clock tonight at Asa Gathering, I'm going to try to twist my husband's arm to get by there tonight and see you in action.
I love it,
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you all so much for listening to the Gee and Ursula Show. Chef, as always, you were cooking. You were hot on fire. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everybody.
Hope you have as much fun as we have. So long, everybody.
KIRO News Radio, winner of 7 regional Edward R. Murrow Awards. Breaking news coverage, best newscast, excellence in writing, investigative reporting, sports reporting, hard news. Capped with a prestigious prize for overall excellence. And we thank you, our audience across the Pacific Northwest. You are the reason we strive to be the Northwest's trusted news source. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
Nick, you know what's a great thing about going to Longevity Medical Clinic as a couple?
Oh, I absolutely do. When they tell you to do something, you actually do it.
Right. And the same thing with you. When they tell you to do it, because for some reason, when I tell you to do it, you're like, whoa.
I just walk away and roll my eyes.
Exactly. But the great thing about Longevity Medical Clinic, the doctors there know, because we do the blood draw and they look and they can see, they know, they hold us accountable.
Yeah, when I'm under pressure and I know I'm coming in, I know I have to work the program.
Right. Plus, we also want to hold each other accountable for how we take care of ourselves because, you know, we want to have a long, healthy, happy life.
I know. I want every day to torture you as long as I possibly can.
Well, I look forward to it. Here's the great thing about Longevity Medical Clinic. They're working with you. They're holding you accountable because they want you to have a long, healthy, happy life. I was a patient at Longevity long before I started doing these commercials. So get your free health analysis. Go to lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
Join the conversation and text your favorite show on the KIRO News Radio text line at 888-973-KIRO. That's 888-973-5476. Powered by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. You deserve a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A first-ever combination of the largest, fastest fiber-powered network, the most reliable Wi-Fi, gig speeds with equipment and security included, and a 5-year price lock. Plus, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A new standard for small business with reliability, security, and savings in one. When you add it all up, No one does business like Comcast Business.
Switch today. Get started for $60 a month for 12 months when you add an advanced solution to a qualifying internet package. Limited time offer. New customers only. Requires 300 megabits per second internet, security edge, and additional qualifying service. 1-year agreement, paperless billing, and autopay with bank account required. Taxes and fees extra. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
Every day, caregivers change lives. Caregiving offers flexibility and the chance to make a real difference in your community. It's not just caring work, it's hard work. The kind of work that calls for empathy, patience, problem solving, reliability, and both physical and mental strength. It may be the hardest job you'll ever love. Right now, Washington faces a caregiver shortage, and your skills and your heart are needed more than ever. Visit caregivercareerswa.com for resources and support to start or return to your caregiving career.
Sponsored by DSHS and aired by the WSAB and this station.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
Epic parties start at Staples. Now you can grab Party City balloons, decorations, and tableware, plus matching custom invites, banners, and more right at Staples. That was easy.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings